Tesla is like plateaued here at 500. No. I think we're just getting started. I think this is a baby rally. We haven't seen nothing yet. And in 2021, we're trading at $415, right? Now we're trading at $431. We haven't rallied in, what, 3 years? Literally. Same price level 3 years ago. Yeah. Have a look at an NVIDIA chart. You know what NVIDIA's done in the last 3 years? That's what I'm talking about. That's seriously what I'm talking about with Tesla. I think this stock is massively undervalued, and I think it's going to go absolutely nuts. Rosie, okay, cool. I'm glad you like the new indicator. It's going to obviously be even more useful as we have a little bit more data, but as I say, literally there's no platform out there in the world that has that data, and we've talked to everybody, which is kind of weird. But yeah, NVIDIA, last 3 years, where was it trading in 2021? November 2021, it was trading at $29. Right? That's what we're talking about here. 4x, 5x, that's what I'm looking at. And if we 4x or 5x on our Tesla trade here, well, despite last week's slight dip, we're still up 181%. We could be looking at, 400, 500, 600, 900% on these. These are leap options. So you can track here like when you bought and how they're doing. This is also inside TradeVision. And this is all included in TradeVision, by the way. Like we don't charge for, like everybody else is like, oh, I'm going to charge you $30 to track your trades. I'm going to charge you $12 to access this. I'm going to charge you for this indicator. I'm going to charge you for alerts and all this stuff. It's all coming up. It's all going to be included for the people who sign up now, because we don't raise your prices. We've never raised prices for an existing user before. So that's how we roll. So you might want to get in there early, because it's going to be tremendous. It's going to be amazing. And as I say, there's a 7-day free trial, so you can literally test it. It won't cost you anything, and zero risk. So the one thing you can do today that's zero risk is that. Now, stock número 3. Are you going to close the Tesla position? No, absolutely. Did you hear what I just said? Were you listening? Were you paying attention? We wasn't paying attention. Does that make any sense, what I just said about Tesla? If you think that what I just said about Tesla made some sense, give me a 1. If it made any sense to you at all. If it made absolutely no sense at all, give me a 2, okay? Brian, we're ahead of you. We're working on that. Yeah, we're working on it. It's coming. It's coming. We're basically waiting on a couple of broker approvals, and then it's coming. It's gonna happen to. We're gonna be able to sync with all the major brokers directly into TradeVision, which will be super cool. And then you just have it in there like automatically. It'll be super cool. All right, there's a lot of ones here. Okay, love it. Bananas. Somebody writes Ambro, lots of ones. Okay, brilliant. Love that. Okay. Now Luke Chan put a 4. I'm sorry, I can't help you, my friend. Find the nearest asylum. And here is stock número 3, okay, SoFi. This hasn't sunk in. Have a look at the stock charts and tell me if this is sunk in. SoFi. There are 2 reasons to be insanely bullish. The first one's obvious, the second one is less obvious. You always get some dum-dums. I think he probably just has a sense of humor. But yeah, look at SoFi here, right? It's actually fallen off last week. Market positions moved down from $17 to $15, right? $2 down, which is quite a lot for a $15 stock. Now, it's doing very nicely here pre-market, so we're loving it. But nobody understands this. No one seems to have paid any attention. El Presidente, Biden, right? The man who was going to forgive student loans for everybody. Because if you think you can forgive debt, well, I don't know what to do, really. I don't know what to say to you. You can't forgive debt. Someone's paying for it, right? If you forgive debt, what happens? Where's the debt? The debt is owed to whom? To the US taxpayer. So you're basically saying to the US taxpayer, you're not getting your money back. So the US taxpayer pays for it. Anyway, so Biden has been said that he would cancel student loan, as in get the taxpayer, pay for the education that people with good education had, so they could make more money. And that seems very fair, because now the people who couldn't afford the education are paying for the people with the education. That makes sense, right? Yeah, that's sort of socialist policy for you. I mean, right? Anyway, he was going to do that for 30 million Americans. So what do those 30 million Americans do? Nothing. Right? Now you're those 30 million Americans with student loan debt, which sucks, by the way. I don't get the whole student loan. I don't understand why your colleges are so expensive. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Come and join me on Friday, and I'll teach you for nada how we do what we do, like tons of stuff. We won't be able to get through everything in an hour, but we'll get through a ton of stuff. And what are these 30 million Americans going to do? They have debt, right? So if you have debt and interest rates have just fallen, what do you want to do? What would you want to do? Do you want to lower your debt, maybe? Do you want to lower your interest rates? Probably, right? So what do you have to do to lower your interest rates? You have to refinance your student loan. Who's the top student loan refinancing company out there for people with college degrees? Anyone? Anyone at all? Anybody? No? Anybody? SoFi. Yeah, SoFi. They started as a student loan refinance business. Now, they haven't been a student loan refinance business for the last 4 years because El Presidente had these brilliant ideas to cancel student debt and put moratoriums on it and all these fancy words, which basically just means the people without education were people paying for the education for the people with education, which seems kind of ludicrous. If you want to do that, just nationalize the frickin' colleges. But anyway, we digress. So, SoFi, exactly. So therefore, SoFi is going to get a bumper freaking 2025 with student loan refinancing coming back. And Trump has already said he's not continuing this madness. He's not. And I think it's the fairer policy. I don't think college education should cost what it costs. I think it's a scandal. But you can address that in a different way than making the people without college education pay for the people with college education. Because if you believe college education has some value, I don't, then, well, you should get a higher income, right, with the education. But, okay, that's another topic for another day. Now, here is point number 2. What happened on Thursday? Anybody make money on Thursday? Did you make money on Thursday? Put it in the chat. Put a yes in the chat if you made money on Thursday. If you lost money on Thursday, put a scary looking smiley in there. $80K debt for gender studies. Yeah, yes, exactly. Did you see the picture of the interns of the Biden White House? There was a very nice looking Chinese looking kid, and he was wearing a skirt. I mean, good for you, but it's weird. I think it's weird. Okay, most of you, I mean, if you're honest, on Thursday, exactly like Monica there, most of you didn't have a good Thursday, right? And that's because the Fed chair, the almighty, he told us here at the Fed press conference he would do less cuts, less rate cuts, or he would do the rate cuts more slowly, right? Okay, we're seeing a lot of dodgy looking smileys there. I like them. What happened the next day? The Fed's favorite inflation measure came out, and you must be a very sad individual to have a favorite inflation measure, but they do, and it's core PCE. And it came in what? Well, we were expecting 0.2%, and what did we get? We got 0.1%. What does that mean? We got less inflation. Why did he say he would cut rates more slowly? Why would he cut rates more slowly? Because inflation was too high. Now inflation comes in lower than expected. What can he therefore do? He can cut more, right? Who benefits from lower interest rates? Have you seen this chart before? Can you make this as big as possible? So what do we got on here? We've got in red and green, we've got SoFi. Okay. If you see this chart, like put a 1 in the chat so you can. I know that you can actually see this. And then in the sort of purplish line up there, what have you got? You've got U.S. interest rates. Interest rates. So when did SoFi start to collapse, like a golden retriever after chasing tennis balls for 2 hours? Well, here, right? And it went from $23 all the way down to like $5. I mean, literally $5. It was 23 up here. Okay, cool. I'm glad that you guys can see it. Thank you. What caused that collapse? Well, can you see what happened to interest rates at the same time? They started to take off here, right? And then they rallied all the way up, really, really high, and that destroyed the value of SoFi. Why? Because financial companies, and actually all growth companies, but particularly fintech companies, when interest rates go up, the value of them goes down. And what happens when interest rates start to come down? Because now interest rates are starting to come down. And what happens to the SoFi stock? Look at that. Look at that, right? It's going up. So the more rate cuts we get, the more this beast is going to go up by. So just going back to low interest rates alone will drive this up. But the business has gotten way, way, way better. We get the student loan business back, which is like the cherry on top, you know, the star on the Christmas tree. And boom, $35. That's what I'm looking at. And of course, again, don't take that as a hard number. You've got to come to your own conclusions and so on. But I see this thing going a heck of a lot higher. And I think at the moment, our SoFi trade is up 261%. And we look at the live market in just a second as well. I think we might see like 900% of this or something like that. Now, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong on that. You've got to come to your own conclusion. You've got to have some risk management, all that stuff. And we'll talk about that on Friday. If you join the live webinar masterclass on Friday with me, to make sure you have the best 2025 you've ever had. Well, you've never had a 2025 before, but you get what I'm saying, right? So I'm very excited about that. So there are two reasons here for SoFi to do well. Is that clear? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Put it in the chat if that makes some sense. Does that make sense? And then if that makes sense, then we can go on to stock number 4, which is NVIDIA, and then we look at your questions and we look at everything else. And John, yeah, Honda, Nissan merging, desperation. It's Tesla. Tesla's killing the old car companies. It makes no sense. Honda and Nissan merging is like, there is no real like synergy there. It just costs pretty much exactly the same thing. So yeah, the cars are already the same. It doesn't really save you any money. It's kind of pointless. Okay, cool. Yes. Have you seen this? Okay. Nice Twitter account, AI Investor here, X account, I should say. He said the market isn't pricing in AGI yet. Now, AGI is essentially an intelligent AI. At the moment, AI is like a bit of a Dumbo, right? There's a lot of information, but it's a bit dumb. It's going to become intelligent like you and me. Well, not sure about me, but you are probably intelligent. And who's going to benefit from that? Who's driving the AGI? And how much compute power is it going to take for AI to actually think like a human being or better? Well, vastly more than what it's doing right now, because right now it's sort of just passing data like a fancy Google, right? It's going to get to a point, and we're almost there, where it's actually becoming insanely intelligent. And maybe you think, oh, it's not going to happen. Well, look at what Elon says. He says the markets claim to look ahead, but mostly they look behind. And it's true. With innovation, we've seen this with so many companies, right? They just look at innovation and they go, nah, this is never going to work. Let me give you some examples. Are you familiar with Amazon, right? Online shopping, right? Nah, never going to take off. Never going to take off. The Amazon cloud business, nobody wants to have their data in the cloud. Nobody, right? That's what they were saying. Or the iPhone, right? People were laughing at that. Microsoft was laughing at that, saying no one's going to buy a phone without a keyboard attached. BlackBerry was the market leader. Microsoft was second with that clunky, slidey thing with a keyboard on it. I had one of those, worst phone ever made. It was a brick. You could kill people with it, right? And the list goes on, right? Tesla, right? Everyone's like, no one wants EVs. No one's ever going to buy EVs, right? There's no reason. So what are they saying now? Well, they're saying robots. No one's going to want robots. And they're saying AGI, which is intelligent AI, isn't going to come. Now, robots are coming. AGI is coming. Self-driving is coming. And the whole thing is powered by what? NVIDIA. NVIDIA. It literally is impossible to have full self-driving, to have robots that work, and to have...
I'm feeling a lot better. Glad I recovered. Last week, I just want to forget it. I mean, just forget everything. Forget trading. Forget... I mean, it's just all one big blur for me. But, yeah, last night I had a trade on the Nikkei that worked out really well. I'm up $8,700 in my live account. Being patient. It's the end of the year, Nick, and I'm not too too excited to just be jumping in and out of trades. How about yourself?
I mean, I've had an up and down December thus far. I had a pretty decent November, but now kind of into the end of the year, I'm in the same boat as you. If there's a good opportunity this week, in the early part of this week, I'm happy to take it, but I am not forcing trades. The markets are going to be here in January, and if we don't get a decent move, the decent trading opportunity in the next, I don't know, call it 36 hours, I may be hanging up anything real that I'm trying to catch until kind of January 2nd, January 3rd, when we are back in full force, volumes back, traders are back. Otherwise, the next week of a trading week could kind of be a disaster. It's a good way to kind of pitch yourself off into the holidays and kind of ruin the Christmas spirit as well as the time you should be spending with friends and family.
Or the year, right?
Exactly.
Years made or lost in the last few weeks of the trading.
So by the way, I am long MNQ from 660. Taking my little system trade here, and I just hit. Sorry, go ahead.
What? Please don't talk to us. Long from 660.
I was just saying, long from 660. I already took my first profit up at 670 there, but we are running into couple of resistance levels there, so I could see this pulling back, and we're also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars up on the 3-minute chart. So that can be a sign of a temporary pullback, just like what we're seeing here.
All right. Yeah, and Dow did break its losing streak on Friday, just barely. And
wasn't it on like the worst losing streak since like
10 days,
the 70s or something?
10 days in a row. Yes, since the 70s. Oh, just getting smoked.
And now 40 points right back up on the NASDAQ.
Oh man, buckle up. Buckle up.
Are you still in that long? Are you still in that long?
I am, yeah.
Nice. Well, there's a good example of why you have wide stops sometimes. Size down, increase your stops, especially during the Christmas week. Holiday week, where you see swings like this in the market for no reason. You don't have to have a reason why this market will move 50 points both directions in less than a minute.
Then see if the Santa rally. We got like a day and a half.
We got gold 74% long here.
Eddie,
looking at liking gold here right now.
Let's see if Jerome Powell. We can overcome Jerome Powell trying to cancel Christmas.
That guy.
He gave it his best shot. He gave it his best shot last week, Eddie.
And then we had Goolsby trying to stick save it on Friday.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he sure did. Incredible. That was fun.
That was the one morning I actually slept in. I slept in and I woke up to that. That was pretty insane. I was not expecting. What was it? 1,000 points on the NASDAQ? Just straight down.
Down a couple hats on the Dow.
It didn't stop. And there was no reverse at all. It was just sell. Anyways, pinned to the top of the chat. You got Top Step daily levels up there. Make sure you keep those open. Have them open on your screen. A little real estate. We're referring to them. Oh, heck. You even slap them over or do an overlay on your charts. Dakota, you're giggling over there. You must feel a little better.
Yeah. It's great to be back, Andre. It is. I miss the chat. I miss everybody. It's always funny in seeing everyone's comments and how things have been.
Yep. And we got number 2 on the leaderboard. Going back after a tough week. In bed, not feeling so hot. Dakota's sick. Are you feeling better though? Are you back to 100%?
Yeah, feeling better. I'm like 95%. I'm over the worst of it, and now it's just kind of just like any sickness. Sometimes the cough kind of like lingers around for a little bit. Oh, yeah. But for the month, to be honest, after last week, I was down like 20,000 last week. I'm up 8,700 today. I'm hovering back and forth, scratch for the entire month, which sometimes it can be very, very frustrating. But other times you just have to remind yourself, like, I mean, that's how it is. You can't have a profitable month every single month, or at least not for me.
Yeah, that's how I was in October and November. Like my P&L has just been kind of going sideways for like a couple of months now, so it can last sometimes even longer than a month. Crazy.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood. What's your longest losing streak you've ever been on?
My longest losing streak? Oh man, long. I don't even, I'm not even sure. Probably. Well, I mean, obviously, like when you're in the beginning days of trading, obviously it's like, you know, learning and trying to just get your feet under you. So probably my longest losing streak was probably in the earlier days. But as of late, I think last year I passed a combine and then proceeded to just have like a losing streak that just took me right out of my XFA like a couple weeks later. So that was not fun, but that also happens.
I know for me this summer I was in a pretty big losing streak. I mean, I was switching platforms, but no excuse when it comes to that. Here in the markets, this is looking pretty bullish. I don't know if you guys are watching this.
Yeah.
Are you looking?
We're not really dropping under this 650 or 640 level. It's right at VWAP here.
It's kind of weird to say it's a range, but this is a good 40-point range from these 660s to 620s. Are you seeing anything, Nick?
No, but it kind of reminds me of, we had an initial dump on Friday where we tried to break below, I think it was the overnight low or the previous day low. I don't remember off the top of my head. But then we were just kind of like range bound inside of the, first 5 minutes, first 1 minute opening range, and sellers just could not do anything. And it was almost like I took a short at that top end of that opening range and ended up having a pretty tight stop, getting stopped out. And that's when the trend day started. So if sellers can cleanly break above 670, 680s, this is probably off to the races.
Okay.
What about
Can
the
you
downside?
catch anything in RTY? I mean, this is market heavy wicks. Big movement here in our Russell.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like we had that push
runner.
up into the
I'll be right back.
yeah, only had a runner. Yeah, we had that push on the 5 minute here. We had a push up into the 200 EMA on the Russell, and then bounced off of it.
Hey, here's my man Eddie. Well, I got you here.
Yes, sir.
What do we got on the calendar? What do we have on the eco calendar for the day?
Well, you've been a good boy, so I'm going to tell you.
Oh, thank you.
Naughty or nice, does it matter anymore? No, it don't. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we do got new home sales. We got consumer confidence. These are the biggest things that are happening today as far as economic numbers. Around 10:30 today Central Time, 3-month, 6-month bill auction. High noon, we got a 2-year note auction. And that is all we've got. Back to you, Andre.
All right. Well, we got a number here. Yep. The conference about 15 minutes. Coda's back. Tim B. Long. The MNQ. Angelo got a little rusty in there. How about that? Trading some other products. You did it last week. That was very fun. Very fun.
Yeah.
Old Rusty.
Old Rusty.
The old minor leagues. Hey, you can figure it out. Good on you. Saw that 82% long tilt in the NASDAQ just to see the market dip about 40 points there.
Do we buy this dip? Is this a buyable dip?
It could be. This is the bottom of that opening range. ES is actually breaking below it, so I'm going to wait and see kind of what the NASDAQ does here. But
we're also in a little bit of a low volume node right here on the at least on the 3 minute that I'm seeing.
Price.
It just kind of bounced off of it around 610s ish.
So far, the answer was yes. 610 to 6.
So
I mean, Dakota, isn't that always the answer though?
Yeah,
It seems to work out a lot more for buying any dip than it does selling any rip.
Other than Wednesday, the answer is yes.
Yeah, that is true. But Wednesday, where there were a few buyable pops, I mean, if you were patient and waited for the right one, you got like 150 points in
Remember those swings?
about a minute and a half when Andre and David Green and I were on. with some
swings,
of those
man.
kind of reflexive bounces that you were seeing in that
Unbelievable.
meltdown from
I'm probably
FOMC.
gonna get stopped out here.
Unbelievable. Oh boy, there we go. All right, sellers coming here in the
Look at
S&Ps.
this.
Now beneath the
Maybe
6,000.
not.
Wow.
All right.
Go.
Maybe
in, guys.
I am out.
Here goes
Russell had
Here we
it.
go.
I'm stopped.
Hey, there's a question in chat. Can we trade tomorrow? Or is the market closed? It's going to close at 12 o'clock noon Central Time tomorrow. So you got a 12 o'clocker tomorrow. Wednesday, it's closed all day.
No trading Wednesday.
Chop, chop.
Take a break. Looked like we wanted to
I mean,
go
so
there.
far, see profit, take profit kind of day.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, these have been 20, 30-point moves, so I mean, it's decent. These are good moves.
Yeah.
So, really fast.
All over week is finally behind us. Everything is now March 2025. Nick, did you get all your Christmas shopping done?
If you can call what anything I did Christmas shopping, we're keeping pretty low maintenance, man. The first Christmas with a 1-month-old, it's
More
gonna be
important
quiet. That's what I'm saying. I got my wife's family coming over on Wednesday. I'm smoking a brisket, and it's gonna be pretty low key. We realized last night, as I was doing slow markets covering for Mr. DBA over there, that when you take your newborn out of a routine that you've been setting it in, as far as bath time, bedtime, feeding, you have a rough night. So unfortunately, last night was that occurrence.
We're all learning together here. We're all learning.
It's just like breaking your trading plan.
Yes, exactly.
When you don't follow your plan, your routine, your schedule, you're gonna have a bad time.
Dakota, it's
That's when
process
stuff
over
goes
profits.
sideways.
It's process over
That's process over poopy diapers.
There you go. Absolutely. Smoking a brisket sounds delicious. Keep us posted on that. Last trade, like Nick said, it looked like a see profit, take profit. Have a trade so far. We'll see if we get into a trend. But right now, looks like the Bulls can't really get any traction. Looks like the Bears can't get any traction as well. We do have a number here in about 12 minutes. Let me see.
I think this could break back up into those 650s maybe.
Is that correct?
It's struggling
Still
here.
going lower. Yeah.
I
We
might
have
actually
news
be
in,
getting short here.
news in 12 minutes?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
consumer
short.
confidence.
Good.
I'm short.
Two good numbers.
All right, Tim's short.
Tim's in.
I'm short from 84 a quarter.
84
I'm just
quarter,
trading micros today, for anybody who's
Yeah.
wondering.
21,584 a quarter.
See what happens here.
Oh, here we go. Looking good.
Let's go.
I see like
Here we
5
go.
orders
Got my
on
target
your
one.
Well done.
Do we go take out 550s right here?
At least
That
maybe
would
go
be nice
test
for me.
the
Yeah, we got 11 minutes to
test
do it.
overnight lows. What? Yeah, 550s. You said.
Yeah, it's like 547s or something.
Well, before we find out, upper left-hand corner of the screen, you do not see yet. You'll see it very here. You'll see it shortly. Hashtag fast markets. Hashtag power hour. Hit us up at Top Step TV. Send some cool battle station picks. Hopefully, I can see some battle station pics. Your trader station setups. I'm always fascinated to see what everyone's setup looks like here in the trade community. All right, new lows
Here it
coming
goes.
here in the S&Ps. 59.85 last trade. Low of the day 59.83 in the S&Ps. Dow falling out of bed as well. Nasdaq staying strong of the three.
The order
Who
book's
knows,
just
Russell?
so thin. Single digits.
Yeah, even ES. It's like 40s, 50s, top to bottom. And then the liquidity algo bands that we're seeing only has like 200 on it.
Here we go.
Oh,
Good
come
short. Great
Come
short.
Come on. Yeah.
There we go. Just got my
Started off.
second target. I'm out.
Nice trade.
And if it hits the overnight low, I'm gonna get short at the overnight low there. It's part of my little system I've got going.
Like it. Started off long, folks.
We'll see what happens.
Fives.
It could bounce here. It could bounce off this. What is this level? 66 quarter. What is this? This is a Top Step daily level. What is? Oh, that's settlement right there.
Price do you have for settle, Tim?
I have 566.
Thank you.
Man, this market's moving.
Yes, it is.
This is wild.
Holiday trade, baby.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think what we've got to watch is the ladder for any big size. I mean, a lot of retail clearing the books here this week, or if they did last week also. So we might see a big number coming in, and you might see this market slide pretty deep. So just a heads up.
Lost trader in the chat. Looks like Christmas Day's canceled. Hold on, it's still early. We'll see. Come on, it's still early. Don't give up on Christmas just yet.
Yeah, everyone's in their holiday best except Andre today.
I know.
What's going on, man?
I didn't get the memo. I did not get the memo.
Andre, come on, man.
You're lighting me up in chat, man. I just put on the uniform, man. I just put on the uniform today. I got a rotation.
Couldn't even get an AI image for a background of Chicago at Christmas.
I
Nothing.
just completely dropped the ball on this one. Completely dropped the ball. I saw these three in the green room. I'm like, oh man, they all look pretty sharp. What am I doing wearing this? And I completely fumbled.
Andre's staying consistent. He's wearing what he normally wears. He's sticking to his dress plan. That's what he's doing.
Yes, plan. Process over profits. I completely fumbled the ball. Completely ruined it. I canceled Christmas. I'm going to cancel Christmas.
Man, that was a quick 30 points to the downside on the NASDAQ. Go ahead.
Looks like there was an iceberg that came in on ES around 87.75. It's about 1,000 positive delta there. So somebody came in.
Tilt pretty much 50-50 across the board here, so you make the call.
Someone's not done with the size. Yeah, like Eddie was saying, we're going to look for some
pretty good
size
push on the
orders
Russell to the downside here.
Oh yeah.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 5th or 6th red bar on the 5-minute, which is pretty. On average, an Edgewell stat that I use to trade is on the 5-minute chart on pretty much all of the major indices here, Russell and NASDAQ and ES, and I think even crude and gold. I saw that on the 5-minute chart, the average consecutive move is about 5 bars. So on average, it's not every time, obviously, but on average, after about a 5-bar move, you can expect a reversal bar. Sometimes so I watched that for some part of my strategy.
I'm long the NASDAQ. I'm long NASDAQ, 572. Here we go.
572. 5 lot Dakota?
Yep, 5
NQ. 5 NQ.
Okay, I'm out at 90.
Woo!
$2,000 right
now
there,
you
man.
see it, now you don't. Well done, Dakota.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
And Dakota just longed the low of the day, most likely, with that type of move.
There we go.
Yep, we got news and nice job, Dakota. We got news in 6 minutes. Was that just 5 in, 5 out, Dakota?
That was just 5 in, 5 out. Quick 20 points.
Love it.
Wow. All right. Wanted to make sure I was out before the news.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good long right there. My system actually has got me short again, but that's not working so well for me right now.
Well, we got 5 minutes to the number. Got some time. Nothing showing on the tilt just yet. We did see 80% long right out of the gate.
5 minutes remaining.
There you go.
Let me
Be a Fed watch tool. Last week was all about the Fed, especially the second half of the week. Pulling the rate cut, a quote, close call. Close call. Very, very interesting. Marcus went free
Clearly,
fall.
Goolsby didn't think it was a close call.
I mean, they try that guy out, man. They knew exactly what they're doing. Talking about it all week. I was talking to my trader friends. People in the chat like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. I was talking to some of my other trader friends. That's like that's exactly what they did in the playbook. He tried to save Christmas. Fed watch tool. All right. Right now, 91%. Again, next meeting is January 29th. January 29th. But right now, 91% probability of a hold at the January 29th. We'll get Jack on here and get his thoughts as well. A little bit.
This could be a runner back up to those 650s. I could see this going to 650. I'm not holding this because we have news, but yeah, 650s.
650. All right. Gabe coming through with the clutch. Scott, we'll get the hashtag up there in the left-hand corner now. I want to see some trader station setups. I want to see your screens, see the lighting systems you got. You might give someone a good idea. People aren't stacking their
Christmas lights
screens
around it.
Look at that. Dakota with the bear and the bull with their Christmas sweaters on. Looks like the bull's got the green sweater on and the bear's got the red sweater on. Nick's got the bull from Wall Street and frolicking in the snow.
He's at the North Pole.
Oh, check this out.
Oh, that's right. Of course. He's at the North Pole.
I forgot to turn my lights on here.
Yes, come on,
There you
Tim.
go.
Got my light up jacket.
Very cool. Look at that. You guys came prepared today. Good job, guys.
Hey, Andre, did you know that they used to call Madoff Investment, whatever his company was called, they used to call it on the street the North Pole. Do you know why, Andre?
I do not know. Is this true? I do not
Because it
know.
wasn't real?
No, tell me. Oh, it's not real.
I asked this on Top Quiz once.
Easy.
I said,
Oh, yeah, sorry, kids show.
Nick.
one of the options was because only Santa could get returns that sweet, but no, the real reason was because they were doing so much cocaine.
Oh.
There it
Yeah,
is.
Pat got that one.
Oh, there it is. The chat got it. Yeah. Nick, this is a kid show. Nick.
This is a kid's show. I apologize.
We talk about cocaine, not whether Santa is
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we went.
a corporal being.
Completely skipped over that. Boy,
I have a great
boy.
story about someone ruining Christmas for a bunch of kids. It was when I went to when I was in high school. The school I went to had like this
Order filled.
all school assembly right before Christmas. I went to a private Christian school, and so there's a big chapel, and the principal of the school got up there, and they had the whole school there. So it was K through 12. So there's kindergartners, there's first graders, second graders, and he goes into his speech. He starts talking. He's like, and then by now, all of you realize that Santa's really just your parents. You can just see like the wave sweep over like all the elementary kids being like, "What?" Like half of them are like, "Yeah, duh." And the other half are like, "What?" He got so much crap for that. He like ruined Christmas for the entire school.
That is literally ruining Christmas. That is literally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was pretty epic.
Parents that probably lost their mind. Oh, that's good stuff. All right, number coming out. Oh, number less than 60 seconds. 60 seconds.
There we go.
Consumer confidence. After that, I did see they're stacked. They're trying to jam durable goods and new home sales into tomorrow and a 5-year note.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow's gonna be, yeah.
Yeah, we do have a
Tomorrow's gonna be a wild
2-year
one.
note today.
Tomorrow's gonna be a wild one.
30 seconds.
Yep, here we go. Eddie's got it.
1s and 2s on the
New
order
home
book.
sales.
Oh, no, durables are my bad. I'm looking at the calendar.
A little bit more
My
than
bad.
prior.
Scratch what I said. My bad. Juice.
Prior 610,000. New home sales are looking at 669. Consumer confidence 111.7 prior. They're looking at a little bit better here at 113. Let's see what happens.
Eyes on the prize.
Eyes on the
Very
prize.
thin. Look how thin it is.
Yeah. I
8
see
point
that.
spread.
Coming in at
10-point spread.
actually
So
they
that
did pretty good. 664,000 new home sales. Consumer not yet coming in here yet, but we do have new home sales change at 5.9% versus the 9.7. Man, consumer over here.
This Nasdaq is
Look at that flatter.
really whipping today.
That's what we got
Like
so
my
far.
5 contract was pretty big. This
The market.
like a big fish.
Consumer confidence come out, Eddie? Yes, it did.
No, here it is. 104. It took a little time here, a little lower than expected. So
It is lower.
Yeah, big skew here. They're looking at 112.9, coming in at 104.7. Consumer confidence for December. So maybe Christmas is canceled.
Seems to be the theme this morning. Will Christmas be canceled? Will it not be canceled?
If you got presents under your tree, you're good to go.
Well,
If you
coal.
see nothing but rug,
Coal.
you're in trouble.
Coal in your stocking, Eddie. Don't want to see the coal in the stocking. All right, everyone's flat. Dakota's up 10 G's right already, Dakota? Damn.
Yeah, I've
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Gosh. Very nice. Dow still seeing some sellers here. 43,011. Call 43,000s in the Dow.
I think. What do you want for Christmas, Andre?
Oh, honestly, I just want it to snow in the mountains because I'm going skiing there shortly. Just snow in the
Let's say
mountains,
that.
and I'll be happy. You getting out? Hey, how's it out in Park City? You guys getting snow?
I don't know. Not as much as probably we should.
Yeah.
Probably. You know what would be a good Christmas gift? I don't think I could get it to you, but you know what's happening, right? On the 26th.
Well, it's the day after Christmas. Everyone goes to the store to return all the stuff, the gifts they didn't want. Why? What do you got?
I know. Yeah.
We're having two
That would-
kids
Well,
in the
just
morning of
Jack's-
the 26th. Yeah.
Jack's
Yeah,
clan's
there you
gonna
go.
grow by
There
two.
you go.
His tribe is going to increase. Yes. What happens, Dakota?
I think the Chicago Bears could finally get a win.
Yeah, I knew you were going there. I knew you. No, they.
I
Why?
really do.
Who-
Thursday?
I,
Playing Thursday?
They're really playing Thursday?
Yeah.
yeah, they're playing Thursday. I think
They're
they could
gonna
do it.
win.
I think they got it.
On Prime. They're going to be on Prime.
It's a quick
My
turnaround.
money's on them.
Ooh, moving lower.
Moving low. Wow. Yes, falling out of bed. Dow falling out. Dow might be leading the way to the downside here.
I'm about to
Banner?
get short here. I am short NASDAQ again.
Nice.
I got stopped out in that last one.
Straight up. Wow.
It just looks like it's going to be a violently range-bound type of day.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't violent, man.
Extremely violent.
59.87. About a 9-point pop in the ES. About a, man.
50-point
40
pop
points.
in NASDAQ.
50 yeah, I was trying to do the math there. I was 40 points or 50 points. 50-point pop in the NASDAQ and not done either. It's C profit, take profit. It's very thin. Expect slippage
Yeah,
in
it
your
is.
live accounts.
I mean, just looking at the DOM, it's 1 to 1.5 to 2 now. Not with
Spread?
news, everything's out. It's just that's the NASDAQ right now. Real thin.
Be careful, folks. Pick your spots in and out, just like Dakota did, just like Tim B did.
Did I hear that right? Jack's getting those 2 little tax credits before the new year.
Yep.
Jack?
Tax coming early.
Two little tats.
2 tax credits.
Just in time.
Arbin babies.
carbon babies.
Arbing.
Oh, Arbing babies. I said carb.
Arbing.
Arbing babies. Yes.
Well, Jack's
Have
always
them at
been
the end
one
of
for
this year, and
spreads.
then, yeah, I'm spreading them against adoption in the new year. We'll see.
Gosh.
Maybe that guy on Wall Street Bets should have expanded his things he was looking for as far as a spouse to see if there was anyone with a kid already that he
yeah.
could marry in the end of the year to help with his his long-term capital gains or losses, whatever it was.
He was up $1 million or he was down $1 million?
I think he was
Down
down
was-
$1 million looking for
Down
somebody
$1
up $1
million
million.
in advertising to find someone in the state of California with $1 million of short-term capital gains in 2024.
Yes. Oh, they got about they got like 8 days to pull this off, and I'm shit.
We need an update from him. I
Yeah.
really want to know if he got one.
50-50 across the board on the tilt right now.
Kind of wanting to buy this again.
See why? Why Dakota? The range?
It's a range bound. This is a range
Yep.
bound. I'm looking at a range bound
Yeah.
market.
Mm-hmm.
What would Nick do? What would Dobie do?
You got Nick for a tick?
There it is. What would Dolby do? That's good.
No, if you heard my crude rant in either slow
Oh.
markets or market kickoff yesterday,
Oh.
you would hear how much I don't want to trade a range, and crude being in a forever range, it seems, over the last 3 months between $71 and $69, or excuse me, $67, that you would know I I don't want to look at that range anymore. I don't want to talk about it. It's pretty miserable.
I think we might.
I feel
see
bad
that
if
here
you're
in the
if you've been
NASDAQ.
trying to trade crude. It seems like it's been you've already had your Christmas ruined.
Silence after that comment.
Oh, yeah. Gold rolling over here. Gold is rolling over 26.25 on the lows in the gold. And Dakota, perhaps looking to take. Dakota, if you did take that long, or if you do take a long, is it see profit, take profit as well, or?
Yeah, that's all I'm looking for today. Just in and out. I mean, I don't want to say little scalps, but I mean, 20 points is 20 points. That was a quick $2,000 in 10 seconds.
Where else can you make 2,000 2 Gs in 10 seconds?
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
that's
So
kind of where
I'm
we're
out
at
of my
today.
short. Hit full target on my shorts there. Got
Nice.
stopped. I took a short and then got stopped out and then took another short. And that one did hit full target. So now it looks like I'm about to get short at the overnight low here at 543 half if we get there.
543. Hook.
Sometimes it bounces hard off of here, but what I've seen is part of my strategy is that usually when it breaks the overnight low, it'll break it by like 25 or 30 points. So I just try to take a little scalp off the overnight range break.
Tim, what are you trading? What are you trading here?
I got MNQ, and I'm trading M2K.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did look like the ES
So,
wanted
yeah.
to take us lower. Rejected there at the bottom. We got some messy shorts now. Yeah, K Dodger, take K Dogger, 61. It's tricky right now. Gotta wait.
Dakota, you seeing another long here? That same spot?
I mean, it's the range bound trade. If you're brave enough to buy these lows, because
Yeah.
the fear, obviously, when you're buying lows or selling highs in a range bound market is just that breakout, right? We can have a 50-point sell off in a moment.
Right.
I would love to see if we go down to 515s, go to like Friday where we closed these 515s, maybe see 490s, and see some type of reversal there.
I mean, everything's looking pretty heavy to me. Like,
Yeah.
Me too.
NASDAQ, ES, Dow, Russell, oil, and gold are all looking.
There it goes.
All right, so I'm
Tesla
short.
Tesla just broke below 420.69. The all important technical level.
Right.
Tilts across the
Nick,
border,
it
ladies
is.
and gentlemen.
Nick, come on. What's he doing, Nick?
We live in a simulation. The fact that was actually resistance the first time and then acted as support, it's almost like Elon sitting there on the bid to protect that number just for the meme.
All right, we are selling,
Look at
making new
that
lows. Finally broke
short.
through. Finally broke.
Beautiful trade.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last one's
And
at
so
518.
I'm out of
Important.
my first two targets here, and it looks like I'm about to hit my third. I'm out. So full target on my short right there. Just scalped it for about 25 points from
Well done.
the break.
Where are you at now on the day, Tim?
I'm actually on MNQ. I am minus 313 because I took a pretty nasty stop out. But on my other XFA, on the Russell, I am up 416.
We'll call it $100.
So
out.
net, it's what am I at here? Net across both my XFAs, I am up 103.3.
Nice, great work.
Very
Great
thin.
work.
Some fantastic better. Very, very thin. 21,500s incoming. Oh, just casual.
Here we
100
go.
100 point. We are.
Okay,
This
now
is
is the
Christmas
zone.
canceled?
These 590s, 490s, 490s.
We runaway train. Is Christmas canceled? We'll be asking. Stay tuned to find out, folks. Here at
We touched 500, right? This is the question. Are we going to see a 50-point bounce off of these 490s? That's where I'm curious off of. We're at 490s now.
Here we go.
This is where I would be tempted to buy one in these in this zone. I don't think I'm going to do it.
It's
I might
moving,
wait
man.
to see if we
It
can get
is
to these
moving.
440s.
It's whippy.
Mm-hmm.
440s would be my next level.
Wow. A 120-point drop there.
Casual.
Yeah.
Casual 124 board draft.
Man, oh man.
Order filled.
Yeah, absolutely as well. But right
Order
now, everyone's
filled.
watching the NASDAQ. Of course, trading the Russell as well with Tim. Got an eye on gold. Who said gold making new lows? Indeed. Crude now trading behind $69. Last trade $68.80 or $68.90.
Order filled.
So we are
You know what
from,
gold
from what
is?
I drew. Oh, go ahead.
As I say, we should figure out where frankincense and myrrh is trading right now.
That's good.
Thanks, Tim.
I like that.
What was it, Eddie? I missed it, Eddie. I missed it. I was reading some. What was it, Eddie? My bad.
We know where gold is. Just we got to find out where frankincense and myrrh is trading right now.
Oh my gosh. Oh god.
That went over my head.
Oh man.
Oh, Eddie.
Whatever it is, I'm
That's,
getting long. I'm long frankincense right now.
There you go.
Patrick Bukowski says Tim caught that joke.
That's a Christianity joke. If anyone
Yes.
in the
Yeah,
chat
that's
doesn't
a-
understand.
Yeah, that's a Christian Christmas joke right there.
Once upon a time.
Jack changed his background too.
I guess that 480s, Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It just looks so scary when it's down there, where everyone's like,
It
let's buy the
does.
dip if it gets there. When it does get there, it's too scary.
Look
So
at that.
yeah,
Here we are.
Look at that pop.
ES
Yeah, that was
bounced
a
off
value
5,900, the
Yeah.
SPX strike,
Wow.
as well as last week's value area low.
Yeah, that was a value area from Friday that we just bounced off of. The NASDAQ.
It was breaking too hard, too fast, Dakota. It was dropping too fast.
Oh, there, Dakota.
I wanted to buy it.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't.
You would have been taking
that
some
would've been a good
steam
buy.
here if you got those 90s.
I would have taken about 12, 13 points of heat, which is fine. But, hindsight, right?
Yeah, you're sitting on a lead as
Yeah.
well. 21,533. 533's last trade, the NASDAQ. We bottomed out at 476, so about 60-point pop there. Thank you. Hoop new lows in the bonds. What are yields doing? What's the 10-year yield doing? When Jack gets back here, give us a take on 10 years above 4.5%. Last yield 4.56% in the 10-year.
Come on, NASDAQ. I want NASDAQ to get to those 440s now.
Hey, Dakota, Silver Bullet's asking, hey, you made some money already. Why you want to get in again?
Process. I don't look at the money. It's process over
That's right.
profits. Every single trade when I am trading, I will take.
There you go.
Yep. Great question. That was a great question.
Yep. Stays in the zone. 21,550, 540s in the NASDAQ. Looking at the S&Ps, 59.77. About 12 points off the lows there.
Did anybody buy those 490s? I'm sure somebody in chat did.
Eddie, take the plunge. Who was brave enough to jump in there?
I mean, that was technically a 3-bar reversal right now.
Still going.
But
Yeah, we got some people
Well,
that
a few
that
people
took
did.
those 90s.
so we got 500s. I'm in it. Bought. Look at everyone
500s.
buying that. Buying the dip. Oh, look. Rue and Ricky both got 505.
Did they catch it on the way up or on the way down? I'd be interested to know. If you caught it on the way down,
Yeah, that's the
Literally.
question.
grit your teeth and say, suck it up. All right, 59.81. 82's now trade. Buyers in the house now in the NASDAQ. Gosh. About a 100
I know
point pop there.
Yeah, it was.
just be careful. Put that stop in there, folks. Make sure you're using that stop.
62% short gold right now. So calendar-wise, Eddie, we're smooth sailing until top of the hour, or top of the hour, high noon, I should say. We got
Well, 10:30, we got some minor 3-month bill, 6-month bill.
Okay. Yep. See
And
that.
then
Thank you.
12 o'clock high noon, you got the deuce note auction.
Well, we're having 5,000 people still showing watching us right now. It's pretty cool. Click like, click subscribe, give us a follow, man. We really appreciate that. It is a holiday trade. Thank you for hanging out with us during your holidays. If you are just hanging out, we got a 100 lot to the upside in the NASDAQ.
Yeah, 550 just got filled.
Filled. Yeah, here we go. So here comes some size. Still some business being conducted.
I think
Hey,
we
can we
come
do
back
a
right
poll?
back
How
up.
many people are off work that are listening to the show?
Andre,
do that?
Sergio, what's up, Serge? Sergio wants to know where Dolby is. Dolby, where are you? He's here. That's our friend.
He's in the chat.
He is in the chat. It's our friend
Working,
from.
yeah, he's working chat.
He's in Mesa, Arizona. He goes to ASU. Dorm room trade.
Dobie, I heard what happened on Friday.
I'm gonna turn my hat around for that guy in the chat.
Oh wow, Bears.
Oh, there
and
you.
Sun-
Wow.
Hey, you're in the Big 12 now.
I know, and we are not living up to the hype.
Wait, how's hoops going? Are you guys not doing well yet?
Not great. Have not played well against good teams.
There we go.
Going to
There's our
Lawrence.
poll.
Going to Lawrence in March, Nick. If you can swing it.
I may not want to swing it depending how the rest of the season starts to
You
go
gotta see the
here in the
stadium.
winter.
You got to see the stadium, though. But I hear you. All right, we got
I
some
know.
news coming in.
But-
Oh,
but-
are you currently working? Are you off? This is an interesting poll question. Yeah, I'd like to know. Are you guys working? Are you off? Are you spending time with the family, holidays, at home? Tim B hitting the road today, going back home later.
Indeed.
How long is that drive from Nashville to Indy?
About 5 hours, depending on how
65?
fast you drive. 4.5 to 5. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Straight shot up I-65, right?
Straight shot, baby. Nice and easy.
Yes, it is. 59.77.
So far, ES is re-offered right at the overnight low and is moving back down lower. NQ kind of went to, I guess, where we opened last night. But Dakota, what are you seeing here? It looks like there was that short potentially in ES. NQ a little harder to want to take that with the momentum to the upside, but now we are moving back down lower.
Yeah, this is just a market. I'm not expecting a trend day, to be honest. If I was, if someone was looking for this thing to trend down or break even further, then yeah, that was a nice pullback to short because we are bouncing or selling off at that. You know, this was support. Supports became resistance, but I'm looking at today as range bound. I want to be a buyer on the lower end, closer to 500. I want to look to take profit as we get back up towards 600, if we get up there. But I don't know, just so thin on the order books. It's just scalp. Like, yeah, if I see a nice setup like those 590s, enter, look for 20, 30 points, be done.
Poll results are back. Yeah, quick 500 votes, just like flash. 45% are off today.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you for hanging out with us on your off day. Try to keep you entertained, show you some entertainment, maybe show you some profitable trades along the way. So far, so good. But again, this is a holiday trade. Thank you again for hanging out with us.
Long is
5,000 guys
tempting
hanging out.
right here.
Ooh.
Long is tempting.
Sounds good,
Ooh.
Jack.
Buy 550, sell 590.
Jack, I see you have some polar bears behind you.
I do.
Are ugly sweater? Wait, are ugly sweater parties? Are those still a thing? I didn't really see any. I haven't seen any. But Jack, what's going on, man?
I think we don't get invited. I mean,
We don't get
I
invited
haven't
to
seen one of those in years.
Me neither.
and hopefully I don't get sued by the Coca-Cola Corporation for polar bears behind me, because I think they own polar bears, like
Stop
animals.
that.
You're right.
Jack is
about
back,
right.
everybody.
I'm back for one day. Andre,
Yeah.
this is my last day. Then I'll be gone for a significant amount of time.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Good for you,
That
partner.
was awesome.
Well-
Go ahead, Jack.
All right, let's hit a few news stories real quick. Take a look at this chart. I don't know if we've shown it before, but the equities price in the United States relative to Europe has gone completely in a different category in the last 14 years, from about the same market cap to now 3.5x. This, my friends, is a chart. USA all the way.
Exceptional.
I believe
Respect in the
it's just
chat.
how much exceptional, as they say. U.S. stocks very exceptional relative to European equities. So there you go.
Good.
You know I love.
I'm long.
predictions.
I'm long Nasdaq 540, 554. Sorry.
No, perfect. Code is long. You long 5?
Yep, long 554. Go ahead, Jack.
Well, we have like 2 people working here today, so I got to type that in too. So you're long 5.
Wow, you're showing them how the sausage is made. You're showing them how the sausage is made. Oh.
I'm not putting in the price for now, okay? Too much going on. But I want to look at these predictions from Apollo, which I believe
Oh, this is my
I believe it was
favorite.
Apollo who recently said that
7,000?
it was them or BlackRock saying that the era of boom and bust cycles was over. So that's great. But of all these things, risk the global markets in 2025. Not given. I love when people give percentages as if 33%, 10%. But what I love here, probability of a U.S. recession 0%. That is tempting fate, my man. Anything can happen. You have a more than 0% chance of winning the Powerball,
Yes.
getting
Could've
killed
said-
by a self-driving car. I mean,
Could've
0%.
said 1%. Yeah, they couldn't have said 1%.
Yeah.
They had to go
0%.
0%.
But they're worried mostly about tariffs, possible NVIDIA disappointments.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, closed off
Accelerating
one.
inflation. Dakota, doing it.
I'm just
And then
closing some off here in
lastly-
the 70s. Sorry.
Perfect. No, keep going. I just want to show this from our friends at Wall Street Bets again. This is the way.
Nick.
There's another 2,000.
Dakota's doing a good job with this right now. If a trade is good enough to take a screenshot, it's good enough to cover. Just think about that.
I
That's
see
what I
that
got
on
now.
Twitter too. That's
Yeah.
good.
It's good advice. We'll talk the 10-year. Let's let Dakota
Right
finish
back
off this trade, and then we'll do that.
No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm flat, Jack. We're good. We're good.
12.7. Let me type this in.
Uh-oh.
Up.
Showing them how we do things. Look at this is how we do it, folks.
$sign.
I feel like I need to tip you now, Jack.
You got my Venmo.
It's a very intricate process behind the scenes, folks.
All right. I'll talk later about the 10-year. You guys traded up a little bit. I need to collect my thoughts.
Boy, you got him shook now.
Oh man, Jack, you're my good luck charm.
I'll take it.
Dakota in and out. Dakota, what's the P&L?
12,750.
Dakota saving Christmas himself.
Yeah, he is. Yes, he
My
is.
5 contracts moved the market all by itself.
It's very thin. Look at this ladder.
Got
Hey, Tim, so when you got your system going, Russell, are you flat right now? First, my question: are you flat?
Yes, I'm flat right now.
Are you? Clearly we're in a range. Does the system change? You shift gears with whether or not we're range bound trending markets. Does the system change or simply just price action, price levels?
As of right now, the system does not change. That's primarily because with the data set that I have, like in order to get enough data to make a decision on whether to change it on the market condition, like a range or like a trending day or something like that, I just don't have enough data on that. Because I do all my back testing manually. Excuse me. So
Right.
once actually, this is a good time to mention, me and Tamikaze are we are doing a little teaming up on this strategy here. So he reached out, and after we were on that one time, we connected.
Nice.
And we are collaborating on my strategy now. So he's actually going to help code it out a little bit and make it into an automated system.
Is that right?
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting, actually. He's got a couple other projects he's got to finish up first. He's a busy man, but yeah, we are going to collaborate on this and get that system automated. So that'll be cool, because once he's got all that coded, then there might be more details and more info and more data that we can mine using code and that kind of thing to scrape a lot more information than what I can do manually, because doing it manually just takes so long, you know.
We'll have to have you two on.
So yeah,
in the new year.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see what we find. See how all that goes down.
Very cool. Last trade in. Look at the Dow. Dow looks
I
like
wonder
it
if
was free. Go ahead, Dakota.
So I was gonna say, I wonder if Sailor is still buying Bitcoin. Do you see
Yes,
Bitcoin
he is.
today?
Is that even a question?
He just bought like 500 million at an average $500 million worth at like an average of $106,000 price. The man is a menace.
It's at 93. It's selling off now. It might get scary, but I don't trade Bitcoin very often. But from a technical standpoint, this thing looks like it could, if it breaks these 92s, we could see these 88s coming into play, 88,000s. But I don't know. Can Sailor keep Bitcoin up by himself?
Dan Evans in the chat says Sailor always buys Bitcoin no matter the price and is holding for the next 100 years. What if he's not going to?
You know who you haven't heard from, speaking of Bitcoin? The Winkelbross brothers, or those
they're around.
twins.
They're around.
Yeah,
They're talking.
Are they, Jack?
Oh, have they been? Have they?
Oh, they're around.
No, they got a
MicroStrategy. Is that
factory
true?
load of Bitcoin.
MicroStrategy is being listed on NASDAQ today?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it got put on it in Palantir. I actually did short the MicroStrategy against a short put, Dakota. You would have loved this trade.
Ooh, okay.
Jack, can we
You shorted
confirm?
MicroStrategy against
Against a
naked
way
put.
out of the money short put when the volatility was out of control.
Okay.
So kind of like
So all
using that as a guard. Yeah.
All that theta was pretty nice.
Yeah, Lost Trader wants to know, Jack. What happened to GameStop?
I'm out.
Out. It's over. It's over. It's over.
I checked
6
my
months.
I checked my positions this morning to see if all the calls and puts had fully canceled out, and I am flat GME.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Sad
Jack.
day.
Nice.
It is a sad day. Profitable, correct?
Yes. I'll go
Good job.
calculate that.
Good job.
Jack, how many times did you roll that position?
Oh boy.
At least 5 or 6.
It's not a loss if you keep rolling.
It's true. So great. All right, look at the tilt here. 50-50. NQ might find a little bit of a range here. Yeah.
Slowing down. Seems like we are stuck in a range.
Yep. Dakota was talking about micro Bitcoin. Look at micro Bitcoin. You can't trade that.
Yeah, you can. I was actually I've been
93,000.
watching it for the past month or so, but I don't know. I don't know, Andre. It's just so hard for me to get into a long-term trade with Bitcoin until, I don't want to say until we get a pullback, but I mean,
Right.
Is this a pullback that like a lot of people's been waiting for? We're only down. This is weird to say. We're only down 15%. I was looking for closer to 20%,
I remember you saying that.
that would be closer to that 88,000 mark. And so if we do get down to the where it says 88,000, then sure, there's a possibility that I would be tempted to open up a longer term position in
Right.
Bitcoin. Maybe I could talk with the risk team and say, hey, can I buy 10 contracts of micro Bitcoin futures and hold that for a longer period of time. I know we have that flexibility here with live accounts, so maybe that's a conversation to be had in the future.
Yep, as live funded trader here at Top Step, you got direct access to the risk team.
Yeah, Dakota, we could do that along with you taking your first payout next year in physical gold contracts. Actually, taking delivery of gold.
Run that
I
by
had
us,
a fun
Dakota.
conversation, Nick. I think you would have really
Did you?
enjoyed this conversation.
If you guys don't know, Dakota and I had a long conversation and kind of were joking, but kind of not on slow markets one night, talking about him taking a payout in either physical gold contracts or actual gold bars. So I would love to see if that actually can manifest in 2025 for him.
Yeah, I got to show you something I picked up on Friday. Hold up.
Please be right back. How does he just disappear like that? What buttons he
Turns
clicking
off
over
his
there?
camera in OBS. You can do it too.
Oh, that's how you do it. Thank you. Oh, yep, they'll do it. Just stop. Yep, I see what you did. It's his show.
Jack's
You're right.
ruining
Don't
the Christmas spirit. just how
Where'd you go?
you'd ruined Santa Claus. You just ruined how I disappear for.
Yeah, that was pretty
Andre.
slick. The second
That
time
was
I've
a
asked
magic
that.
trick.
That was the second time I asked. I didn't get any answers. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, I did purchase some gold. These
Whoa.
I don't know if you can see it. Oh wow, it's blending in with the background. Yeah, you're not going to see it with the green screen behind me.
Cool.
But a few 1 ounce silver coins for the holiday, and then maybe giving some out for Christmas.
Wow. Very nice, Dakota.
But
So I might
to continue
be-
that conversation, Nick, I'm trying to convince MP. I met up with an old friend, and he has a good contact at a gold supplier who mints their own coins. Trying to talk to MP to see if I could convince him to get us some minted gold Top Step coins.
I like that idea.
Maybe some gifts, maybe some of the live traders. I don't know. That's going to be something I want to have that conversation with MP.
I like it.
What did he say when you floated the idea? What did MP say, Dakota?
I mean, I need to know exactly what it's going to look like, how long it would take, and all that
It's
fun
gonna be a
stuff
process?
in
Oh,
supply
boy.
chain, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here's the funny thing: talking about a Series 30, Series 3 was he asked me a lot of futures questions. He was like, "Hey, I'm buying gold, I'm buying silver," and he purchased it at the end of the year. This dude buys like 500 pounds of gold and silver total for a year. I'm like, well, are you hedged? Like, do you buy futures or sell futures contracts, or you take delivery? And he does not. And so we had a good 1 hour conversation about what it would look like to take delivery, and maybe that's also something that I could talk like, yeah, let's buy a gold futures contract and take delivery of it.
Still stuck in this
So
range.
I'm looking at the Russell
we
here.
are.
I might be. I've got a limit sell order at 2254.1. It's pushing up on the 5-minute. It's pushing up into the 30 EMA here.
Huh.
So if it gets there, probably going to take a little short position.
Okay. Hold on, I'm looking at the gold chart. It just dawned on me. Gold has been above $2,000 this entire year.
I'm ready for 3,000, Andre.
It's coming. Dude, 2,000
It
was
is.
like the ultimate obstacle, 2000s. And now, looking back at the daily, we've been above 2,000 this entire year. Crazy. Finally did it. Seen a bit of a buyback here in the ES. 59.81 last trade.
Do you guys think maybe we had all this action off the open here, and now it's just going to chop the rest of the day in this little range?
Feels like
That sounds about right because I haven't taken a trade yet, so naturally it'll just get me chopped up trying to play one of these sides of the range. No, I do think we are. I mean, when it's like this, we're not moving further down. We're starting to slow down a little bit. I could see us maybe range bound, maybe try to make a move back up towards 5990s in ES and up towards 600s on NQ, but no entry yet.
No patience. Don't. Lack of a better.
No, we talked about this when I came on. It's the last. This might be one of the last decent trading days of the year, if there is any volume. Last year when I did, I got myself in trouble on Christmas Eve, so I'm not going to repeat that if conditions aren't great.
Didn't you say you were trading from an airport?
Yes.
Oh my God! Did you hear that?
I was in the TSA line trying to catch the knife to long this in the sell-off on Christmas Eve, and I paid for it.
Nick. You the man, Dakota. You the man. Oh, Nick, oh boy, too good.
Yeah, it was not my finest hour. Traders trade, I guess.
Yes, they do. Traders trade. Yep. Who's got the bells? I keep hearing bells jingling. Is that you, Tim?
It's the stupid sweater.
Is you, Nick?
I'm trying not to move, man. This is the sweater Jim Carrey wears in The Grinch when they're doing like the holiday party. It has bells. It lights up. It's got the whole tree.
Look at that.
You can't see the green tree because of the green screen, but
for one day, it is absolutely perfect.
You should have worn that.
It's gonna drive him nuts.
It's been driving me nuts all morning. I was trying to pull it in my closet and not wake a newborn. It was like a disaster.
Fall down the stairs
because of the damn bells.
I'm literally like trying not to move my arms.
No, we love it. Looking at crude still kind of creeping lower. $68.88. Look how thin it is in this NASDAQ.
Yeah, here we go. Back to 600 maybe.
Yep.
You can get there quick.
You need to wear a sweater like that, Nick, during all-time highs, so you could jump up and down when we make one.
Yeah, I might have to upgrade the air horn sound for 2025 to have it prepared. See if I can.
I'm Short Russell from 2254. And actually, M2K for being technical.
Really? You short that Russell, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Watch
cut Eddie's
here.
attention.
I should
cut
have
Eddie's
here.
attention.
Yeah. Well, we got crude 72% short on the tilt.
Oh, nice. Hopefully, they like the downside movement over there, Eddie.
Watch it. Yeah. Hanging around the lows here. Yeah.
Nick's air horn got a lot of use this year. A lot of use.
Remember July?
It's like 10 days in a row. Look at that face. Yeah, I remember. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember the drawdown, and then I remember one trade making it all back. Finally catching like the 2% down day.
Oh, that's a charge. That's a charge up. That's air horn.
Hang that one up, Nick. We're looking for a new one.
Yeah, I might need to upgrade it. Something a little different. Well, I'll see what I can find in the old sound effect world.
Okay, you do that.
Oh, wow. How about this? Shout out to DF. DF in the chat. Submitted my first payout request. Let's go. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Nice. Christmas came
Let's
for
go.
DF.
Let's just see what happens.
Looks like DF's getting their payout. Good job.
Payout right for the Christmas.
With better timing. All right, Tim B short the Russell from 22.54. Last trade 22.50. Looking good there. Hey, do you have a downside target, Tim?
I do. 2243.6.
0.6. I like that. That's right. You're very specific with your ticks. Yes, very specific. I like it.
Very specific. Yeah, so I just set my stop to 2256.3. And so I'm on a 5-minute chart. For the rest of this trade, I'm going to trail it out bar by bar. Or hopefully it hits target before that. But that is the plan at this point. Let me try to
Eddie
throw
said-
this in my shared screen.
Eddie
here.
said 74% short in the crude oil. Angel on hell, Angel in the chat. See you all next year. Happy holidays. You too. We will see you back next year if you are. Enjoy the time off. The markets will be here, but make sure you stay tuned into Top Step TV. Just hanging out with us. Someone will be taking a trade somewhere.
Each of these names on those express funded accounts, Tim, are they the name of your system?
No, well, so I named this one. I just name them just kind of dorky names in alphabetical order. so my first XFA here is just named Alfred, and then I named my 50K that I passed the other day. I named it Wilson for Russell Wilson. So I'm trading the Russell. So
I like that.
Yeah,
that seems to fit for the Russie. Just FYI.
Yeah, good job. What's with the Alfred one? You like thinking
Alfred.
Batman or something?
Sure. We'll go with that.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
I'm Batman.
Russell Wilson. I like that. He had a tough day the other day. Are you a Colts fan, Tim? Titans
I am
fan?
a Colts fan.
All right.
Colts fan, yeah.
Big win yesterday.
Yep. I don't get to watch a lot of the games though because I don't have NFL Sunday ticket, and the Colts
Me
games are
neither.
never on down here because the Titans games take priority. So
There you
I never
go.
really get to watch too many Colts games, sadly.
Well, you had the Peyton Manning years, right? That was a fun run.
Oh yeah,
You guys beat the Bears in the
Yeah,
Super
that
Bowl,
was-
actually.
that was a good time.
Bastards.
Couldn't stop the run, Eddie. Even though Hester took
I
it to the house.
tell you, the first play of the game was a run back.
Electric.
Touchdown.
Electric.
It was like, okay, we got this game. Oh my.
And Peyton Manning happened. 21,570, 570 in the NASDAQ. Right now we're watching Tim's short in the Russell. Getting close to the target, to the downside here. See if we keep pushing. Crude continues to sell off. Shout out to the 73% that are short of you.
Yeah. So the reason why I took this trade, and this is a setup that's actually inspired by David Green. So I've got the same EMAs that he's got on his chart. I've got a 9, a 15, a 30, a 65, and a 200. And so when it pulled up into the 30 EMA here on the 5-minute, that's why I took that short right there.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
That's a good short.
So
Good trade.
That train, the
And
Russell.
that's 10 micros?
yeah, I trade micros because you can dial in like your risk a lot better based on like the structure of what you're
Correct.
seeing.
Okay.
So that's why I like trading micros a little better than, even though technically it's more expensive, I just kind of consider it the cost of doing business and the cost of having more control over the
It's to a point, right?
position.
Because that's always the
Yeah, yeah.
conversation is eventually, as you start to scale up, eventually you'll need to make that switch or make that decision. But
Right.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
a beautiful reason, and this is a perfect example of how great of a tool micros can actually be. Is scaling in, scaling out, and then being able to adjust your position size by a smaller dollar amount. Because if you're using minis, you don't have very much of a change. You're like, okay, I'm either risking this or I'm doubling it, and these are big increments. Micros, you could change it in
Exactly.
small increments. I typically, my general rule of thumb that I tell traders is like, once you start trading like 20 or 30 micros, then you can make that decision. But until then, I mean, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been really liking it so far because I came, like, the way I really got into trading was I started trading stocks first. There's this company called, education company called Live Traders. And they've got, if anybody's interested in trading stocks specifically, they are a great resource for learning how to trade stocks. But they talk a lot about, it's trading. Jared on there talks a lot about risking the same amount per trade so you can make sure your risk reward is always consistent. And so you base your stop on the structure of the trade that you're seeing. They trade a lot of candlestick patterns and stuff. So they would, it's like your entry is here, and then your stop is at below this candle or whatever. And so you measure that distance, and then you take that distance, and then you set your stop to be the appropriate amount of shares for that distance. And so I was trying to find a way to do that with futures, and I was like, well, it's tough to do that with minis. But then I kind of had an epiphany. I adjusted the calculation of that for micros. Like, oh, if you do one more, what am I trying to say? If you do one more calculation in that formula, you can actually adjust it to the micros. So what I do is I'm risking $500 per trade right now on my Russell trades. And so you take $500 divided by the point size you want to risk, and then you divide that by the point value, and then that gives you a little more specific.
Hey guys, I have to jump. I got to go do some daddy duty for a little bit. Thank you all for having me on, and everyone having fun with us here the day before Christmas Eve. So if I don't see everybody in the chat tomorrow, I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas. And I will see you later this week on Top Step TV. But thanks, guys. Good luck with the rest of
Later, Nick.
Enjoy.
Thanks for hanging out,
Merry
man.
Christmas, Nick.
Happy holidays.
See you, man.
Cheers.
Take care.
Number 4 on the big board, folks. Priorities. Family comes first.
Always. But yeah, I like what you said, Tim. But you're adjusting your position size based off your risk parameters, so you don't know whether it's going to be 10 micros, 11 micros, 7 micros. You are trading what the market gives you, and you're adjusting your size. You're not saying, oh, I'm going to risk 500, so you put your stop loss wherever that $500 is going to be. Your stop loss and your take profits are consistent, but your size is variable. So I like that. That's a lot what I do in my slow markets when I teach. Of course, during the New York session, I've started to do it a little bit more consistent to kind of demonstrate points and profits over process. But that is, to me, and my opinion, is one of the best ways to do it.
Agree. And I just hit full target there. So
good job.
We are up. I'm up 929 on my Russell account here.
Oh, man.
Nice.
I got an announcement to make. Look at that, trading the Russell around here. Who says all you guys do is trade NASDAQ? No, look at that. Look at some Russell around here, man. I love it. Hey, just a heads up. I got an announcement. Just a heads up. We're gonna how about this little Christmas post-Christmas gift from us to you? We're gonna have 2 top quizzes this week. One Thursday and one Friday. I know we didn't have that top quiz last Friday, so we owe you one. So we're gonna have top quiz this Thursday and Friday.
And I'm ready for you all.
Oh, Eddie's gonna be bringing the pain. Eddie's gonna be bringing the pain with those questions.
The house of pain.
Yeah. Love it.
Old Jim Cramer.
Everyone's flat here. Dakota's flat. Dakota,
I'm flat. Yep.
Dakota, when you first came on this year, we'll do a little bit of a year in review. Slightly. You did not trade. You traded overnight. You're Mr. Slow Markets when you first came on this year, right? Someone light a fire.
Correct. Yeah,
I
still...
rear end. So it all started because someone told Dakota, those that do can, those that can't coach. Dakota took that personally. And lo and behold,
I still trade slow markets. I still trade overnight. Yeah. I came in today with 8,000, right? That's
right.
Still my bread and butter, I guess. I can trade the New York session, and so whenever I'm on fast markets, I will trade the New York session with you guys. I mean, it's the same thing in terms of process, right? It's just like how you was explaining, Tim. You're just to change your contract size. It's very similar to the New York session. You're just on different time frames. Slow markets, I look at the 1 hour and higher time frames. I'm in those trades a lot longer. Typically, it's a smaller position size. New York session, everything's a whole lot faster. I'm zoomed in, and things happen really quick. I mean, normally, right? You're going to have slow, volatile days sometimes in the New York session, but yeah, same process, same thought process. We're risk managers at the end of the day.
It's true. Yes, that's what got Dakota. The fire under Dakota, and he's like, "That's it. Watch me trade. Hold my beer." Dakota.
I mean, we've seen one of the best coaches to ever do it. Him and his son. You guys see that? Tiger Woods.
What happened? Oh,
Tiger
did you see
Woods.
the hole in one? Did you see the hole in one?
Yeah. Him and his son. You can't tell me that Tiger's not an amazing coach to his son.
Thank you. It's a good, great call. Who do you think Charlie Woods' coach is?
Oh yeah.
Kid had a hole in one yesterday. First ever.
That was a beautiful thing.
It's insane.
That was one of the most wholesome moments in sports right there.
Yes, it does. Tiger looked human. He showed emotion like a human did. Wow, Russell's still selling off here, Tim.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's interesting. 22.42 for all you Russell traders out there. Low of the day, 22.38.6.6.
Addy. Yes, better than LeBron and Bronny.
Yeah.
Hey, just a reminder, coming up at Power. Hour today, this afternoon, Mohammed's going to be with us. With,
Okay.
of course, the dynamic duo, Andre and Dolby. So don't miss that. 2 o'clock Central Time. I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks, Eddie. Eddie, what's on tap for Christmas? Just hang around the house,
Yeah,
go see some family, lay low.
Actually, I mean, Michelle does a big. She likes to play a lot of these Christmas games with presidents and stuff. And she's been working on that for like weeks. So we're gonna go over to the mother-in-law's. Have a big house full of people. She's got all these games, and I'm sort of like the MC the whole day. So
I'm not surprised.
but it's fun. It's fun. A lot of good food. Love the family, and that's my plan. How about yours, Andre?
Going to her side of the family tomorrow, and then my side of the family on actual Christmas Day.
There you go.
Probably it's a lot of suburbs. I mean the burbs. Put mileage on the car tomorrow. Both days actually. A lot of suburbs.
So you've
Yes.
met her side, eh?
Oh yeah. Oh. They've
Okay.
met me, Jack. They've met me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, we've been
Man,
together for a couple years.
living in sin.
We've been
with his
together a
daughter.
couple years. We've been together a couple years now, Jack. Yes. Getting serious. She lives with me. Yeah, I'd say things are getting serious. Yeah.
When are you getting married, Andre?
Oh, not right here, Dakota. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You crazy?
I heard Dobie tied the knot.
Oh,
What about
yeah,
you?
Dolby. Hey, speaking of which, congratulations to Nick Dolby. Yes, Dolby time
Yeah.
got
Really?
hitched.
Nice.
Yes, right. Yes,
I didn't know
he did.
that. That's awesome. Congrats to
You
him.
have a
Yeah, that's
picture?
awesome.
I'm also trying
Way to go,
deflect
way
here.
to go,
Yes,
Nick.
jump in the water's warm. Let's get that picture. If Dolby's cool with it and Mrs. Dolby's cool with it.
I was kind of hoping he went to like Vegas and got married by Elvis or something, but that wasn't the case.
Yes, everyone. Congratulations to Dolby. We'll pull those pictures up if they're cool with it. We'll run it by Dolby time and Mrs. Dolby time.
It's Mrs. Dorito.
Mrs. Dorito. Mrs. Dorito, get it right. See how I deflected there, Dolby or Dakota? Nice try.
Yeah. Market Stalker D said she did that. Did you get married in Vegas
she
by
did.
Elvis?
Got married in Vegas?
She did. That's right.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
That's awesome.
When Dolby and Mrs. Dorito have kids, there'll be a chip off the old block.
Wow. Still selling off here in the crude, making new lows, drifting lower, $68.68, 2 cents off the lows. And Q
Yeah.
has found a
Chip
bit
off
of
the
a
old
hole.
wedge pattern.
There it is. These jokes can't write themselves, Tim B.
That's really why I'm here, guys. Is just to tell really bad jokes on camera. That's really why I'm here.
Bad jokes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was great. Oh, bad jokes are the best jokes. If you can't
No,
laugh at your own
Bad
jokes,
jokes and dad jokes.
yes,
Dad
bad
jokes.
jokes and dad jokes. If you can't laugh at your own joke, who else is going to laugh at it?
I
A bit of
did
a
just
pop
miss
here.
I missed
take it,
along.
Dakota?
No, I missed it. the long was the break of this 61, 62. Stop was going to be a little bit under 40,
Yes,
maybe
balls.
39. And target's going to be these 80s again. Well, that's okay.
Yes. Full market hours today. Yes. Yes, Paul.
Yes.
Tomorrow's a half a day. Markets will close at 12 o'clock noon Central. We won't be here. And then Wednesday, we are closed. And nobody's going to be here.
Yeah, this
told
market's looking good.
We have that photo of Dolby Time and Mrs. Dolby Time, Mrs. Dorito. We do want to show it. Gabe.
He's going to regret that.
I'm sure
Yeah.
she's gonna love that.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Gabe.
wow,
Oh, there they are. Look at that.
wow.
Look at the power couple. Look at that power couple, man.
There we go.
Congratulations to the newlyweds. Wow, looking very dapper.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Aw.
Congratulations.
You lucky duck, you.
Mrs.
Get all-
Dorito was her joke. Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, make sure we're
Oh,
running by
okay.
the bus.
Well,
We got to run it by the bus. Look at that. Hops Up TV family. We're getting all grown up around here. All right.
Man, this
so
long
push-
NASDAQ trade.
Yeah.
I think we
That
could
was
get
a,
back up into those 600s.
50-point pop.
This is a nice resistance level, these 80s. If we could break through these 80s, if we start breaking through that, I think maybe we could run to the higher end, which is going to be up here in those 650s, these mid to upper 600s. If we could break through that, but that was the trade. Break through these 60s, these 560s for a trade back up here towards these 80s. And this is the kind of market it is, right? Range bound, buy low, sell high. That's all that was. Breakout, buy, looking to sell, back up at the very next consolidation. And you can see over here on the 5-minute chart that we are making higher lows and equal highs. So this is looking bullish toward, for me, looking like we could continue to make higher lows and pushing into these 600s.
Mm-hmm.
Right. 10 o'clock. Top of the hour coming shortly for those essential time.
So Dakota, I know you've talked about this a bunch, but remind me what it was that made you choose the 100 tick chart to take your executions on.
Okay, good question. Glad it wasn't what is a 3-bar reversal. But,
What is it?
That's nothing coming today.
yeah, so for that reason, right? A lot of my setups are on this 5-minute chart over on the left, but just kind of like Google Maps, how you could zoom in and you could start to see the breakdown of all of this. And so there's a lot that you could see on this like zoomed in setting, right? So you could see this resistance forming. Sure, you could see it on the 5-minute. It's a lot harder to see it compared to this 100 tick chart. And so you could start to see these pivots. You could see these higher highs, higher lows, and you could see so much more. For example, right? This is just purely an example where maybe if someone was looking to short up in this zone, right? They don't want to just short for no reason. Maybe they're going to look for some type of a pivot, some type of a reversal or technical pattern. Then on the 100 tick chart, you could see something like this form and say, well, we made a lower high. And as soon as we broke that, right? As soon as we broke that level, then there's a possibility for us to, reverse. And so sometimes I've been calling them breadcrumbs lately, but that is the reason, is to get a more zoomed in look of what the price action's doing at key zones. So even though here on the 5-minute chart, you could just say this is a zone, but zoomed in on the 100 tick chart, you can actually see that price action. And then as soon as we broke that low, I mean, if you wanted to short, I mean, obviously with hindsight, that was a beautiful entry, a beautiful trade. But yeah, just like that. I mean, we just had another one set up, right? Almost identical, but in reverse. As an example, with hindsight, where we just had a higher low, we broke this pivot, and so there could have been an easy entry right there, or easy, but easy after the fact. That's all.
And do you ever look
helps me
for
zoom in?
Well, do you ever look for 3-bar reversals on the 100 tick chart, or do you just exclusively stick to
No.
the 5-minute chart?
No, I mean, you can. It's just 100 tick chart is not meant for like 3-bar reversals or at least for me, I look more at where price is bouncing up and down, and I can look for these flagging patterns sometimes, and the break of the consolidation. It helps me identify price action, less candlestick patterns. Not so much candlestick patterns, more price action.
Cool.
But it happens fast. Yeah, as Green Machine says, don't blink.
Oh yeah, 100 tick is, especially on the Nasdaq, super fast.
I think Mohammed uses the 1,000 tick. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mohammed, but I believe you use 1,000 tick.
Yeah, I think you're right. Andre. I think it is 1,000 tick.
100 ticks quick. All right. Nasdaq's going to try to keep pushing here. Last trade 21,583. Maybe give VWAP an old test there. 21,607. 607.
Yeah, it was 40 points down, 40 points up.
Talk about don't blink. Yeah. Crude with about a 15-cent point. 15-cent pop, I should say.
Oh, I'm tempted to buy this one right here now. Andre, this would be a breakout trade. This is a breakout trade. Looking to buy like right here, right now, in this zone, and not sell it. I'm looking to buy it, actually. Looking for a breakout above, say, 96, 92. So I don't know if you guys want to try a house account trade, but that is a valid trade.
Why breakout? We've been in a range for the last hour, Dakota. Why breakout now?
It's not a breakout of the range day. It's a breakout of this current consolidation. Sure. And it would be looking for us to go to the upper end of the range for today. And the upper end of the range is going to be up here in these like 640 to 670 zone. It would be a breakout of what we're currently consolidating at and a move to the upper end of today's range. And there it goes.
Dakota, there you go.
Too slow on the clicking over here.
There he
That's
is.
okay.
So I'm looking at today's NFL game, Packers versus Saints, and they're getting 14 points. Wow. Over and under 42 and a half.
What's the weather going to be like?
Call, Dakota.
It's going to be cold and snowy. Get it. Wow, nice call here, Dakota.
Lambo,
Pushing higher here.
It's going to be a Lambo.
Yeah. Into the 600s now, 21,000. Call it 600. 607 is a view app. Dakota wanted to get long for around the 580s for the breakout. Lo and behold, we're about 20, 25 points higher.
Shoot.
Damn, Dakota.
Pushing the VWAP.
Just giving Christmas presents to everybody today.
Yeah, you are.
Speaking of giving Christmas presents, Eddie sent us some pictures.
Gabe.
Do you like that one, Andre?
Well done, man. You find your windows great, man.
I do, man. I'm getting better at it. All right, so we got a couple pics of Eddie he sent in. Now, Eddie honestly probably plays one of the best Santas. I know we give Hogue a lot of grief for being closer to Santa in terms of looks, but I think Eddie's got the character down, honestly.
Look at this.
So we got Eddie all dressed up.
Look at that.
And we got a second one here of him with some kiddos.
Merry Christmas. A little
well
sound.
Well done.
Look, they're raising their hands. Who's been a good boy or who's been a good child this year? Look, the ones raising their hands, Eddie.
I was asking them, anybody got any raps? I need some papers. 1.5s?
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
You were looking for a future offensive line right there.
Yeah.
Here you go. Oh, those kids are great. Love the kids. I tell you, the eyes open up so big. It's great. It's great. It's great.
Very cool.
Helping out the big man in the North Pole. You got to do that. You got to be a Santa helper. He's got so much to do, and
such little time to do it.
good kids.
21,607. Could have won.
So I'm actually, my system just got me long on MNQ again at 599 quarter, and I took out my first target and second target.
Ready?
Man. And got one target left at 624 half.
624 half. 620. Okay.
So let's see how this plays out. So with these trades on my NASDAQ system, I structure the risk differently because I made the system way before I made the system I just used to trade the Russell. So this is a different structure and different targets and everything. Since me and Tom have made an agreement, we agreed to kind of keep the system confidential until we get everything coded out and that kind of thing. So I can't really talk about too much of the details. But but the theory behind these trades is to give it just like a really wide stop and like let the price wiggle around, because when the signal happens, there's a good chance it's going to at least have a nice little push in the direction of the signal. And so in order to avoid getting whipped out, if it's like in a range or something, I give these trades like a big wide berth, as they call it. So
like that.
Wide berth.
A wide berth.
Question for Mr. Dakota. You're from Musa. Musa, which chart's good for a beginner? What would you suggest for a beginner? What chart?
5 minute hourly chart. Typically, the higher the time frame, the better it would be for a new trader.
There you go.
Yep.
Why?
Not a lot of thinking, right? Because if you're doing the 1 minute, it prints a new candlestick every 1 minute, and you have to think every 1 minute. On the 5 minute, it only prints a new candlestick every 5 minutes. Then you only need to think every 5 minutes, and then you just keep going. And so, if I could start all over again, the first thing I would learn, Andre, is the hourly chart, and I'll learn how to trade on the hourly chart. And I would place a trade. I'll hold trades for 2-3 hours, and I would trade small, and I'll have wide stops, and I'll trade the hourly chart, and I'll probably place only 3 to 5 trades a week, and I'd learn to get just really consistent at it, and then scale up like that.
Hourly.
If I had to start everything over again, that's exactly what I would do.
Gabe in our chat back here saying the 15-second chart. Just playing games back here. Gabe, you're not learning anything on a 15-second chart. No one's learning anything on a 15-second chart. Your head's going to be spinning on a 15-second.
I like a chart where it can tell you the story of what's actually going on. Buyers coming in here, sellers coming in here.
So, Eddie, where can you find that? 15 minutes? There you go. 15 minutes. Chat looks like.
You want to make sure you see that story, what the market is telling you.
Correct.
Yeah, the 15 does give you a lot of good context, both like in a smaller time frame and in a longer one, because you can kind of extrapolate some of the data that you see on a 15 for like a longer term, but you can also kind of use it to start to get into like a smaller time frame as well. I think it's a good like bridge time frame between longer and smaller ones. Just give you some context, like what Eddie said.
Yeah. Try not to change a lot either. Like that's probably better. The best advice is find something and then don't change
I agree with that.
every week or every month when you get into a losing streak, and then you just change, and then you change, and then you go into this cycle. I mean, I don't like to say trading's really just that easy or very simple, but I mean, rerun this fast markets and look at the trades I took. They were simple. They were straightforward. I was talking about this breakout trade of those 580s, right? And it was as simple as looking at the 5 minute chart, talking about it. There was nothing complex about this trade. It was, hey, we're going to break out of this consolidation range. Today's a range day, and the high of the range, the high of the day is going to be here in these 640s, 660s, 670s, this zone. And so if we do break out of this, then there's a decent chance that we might rotate back up towards these highs in these mid 600s. And like, as simple as that. Like, it's hard to tell somebody like it's this simple, and they just don't believe you, and they don't believe it, and they just think you're either a gambler, there's something else, or there's something that the market does and they just don't know, or there's some type of inside information that I'm not telling anybody. But it's just risk management, how you go about trading it is the secret sauce. How much are you risking? Where is your stop loss? Where is your take profit? Because everybody could take the same exact trade, and everybody will come out with different results.
Mm-hmm.
Well said.
Yep.
All right. Hanging around here just above the VWAP, kind of in between those zones that Dakota laid out there. You're flat, right, Tim?
I got one micro on.
Okay, very nice. Anything tempting here, or are we just waiting for possible rotation higher?
Waiting from my end.
It's definitely
I think
slowing
that's-
down quite a bit, which makes sense.
It's going to do that the rest of the afternoon too.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
things could be pretty choppy. This is the last full day, as we mentioned, before Christmas hours start mucking things up. Half day tomorrow. Markets closed on December 25th, Christmas. Top Step TV will be back the day after Christmas. No breaks here. We'll be chugging along.
We
still
got
have 4,500
4,500 people watching us.
Yeah, I guess we do. Yeah. But we got in such an argument last year with MP circa, are people really going to be watching the day after Christmas? But they're there.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes
Are we
it's
here
the best
tomorrow?
time
No.
for people. It's like, hey, let's just tune in. You don't have to trade. We can
there might be a lot of
enjoy
people
and watch
watching
other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for some tradertainment.
Better than zombie scrolling TikTok or YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. That is correct. Just hanging around here at the moment.
Yeah. I'm going to go
So
ahead
Dakota.
and click on this lockout button. And I think I'm going to call it a day in my live account, but I'll still talk about the markets.
Beautiful.
There we go.
What a great day. You had a good Monday there.
Yeah,
I think I'm actually going to do the same.
12,750.
I'm going to do the same on my 50K XFA here. I've found that a lot of times when I'm up around this range of profitability on the day, that's when I start to give some back, or just when some of my system starts to give some back. So especially since it's getting slow and I'm up nicely on this day, I'm actually also going to lock out my Russell for the day.
Nice trade.
There we go.
It's a good day.
Locked
Yep.
out.
You
Use
know,
that
though,
feature.
considering I got Christmas coming up here, the U.S. dollar, off to a positive start here today, and it was after a rather sluggish start of the day. We are seeing it just below a 2-year high ahead of Christmas here. So hooray for the dollar.
Hooray. 10 years a different story, though, right now.
What do you got?
Well, of course, they're linked. Well, after Powell laid the smack down on us, we got up to 4.5 in the 10-year yields, tried to push above it, came back in to test it, and now are back to 4.56. Talked earlier about the Fed Watch tool. So the Fed saying they were going to reduce the number of rate cuts. And as long as the 10-year is above 4.5, ain't no way they're cutting unless things change very dramatically. Nor should they. So, Dakota.
Yes.
I'm going to be leaving for a while. No good luck charm for you.
I know. Now what? Well, I still have Andre.
Yeah, you still have Andre. He will be
Second
gone.
That's good luck. Charm.
Second best. I do have my live account open if we're looking to take any trades here. I am not in a rush to do so, in parts because my mind is obviously in a million different directions.
And rightfully so. I mean, this price action is just not the best. It really is. There's no rhyme or rhythm to it other than just day trading.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am seeing a lot of traders up today nicely and locking out, doing the Dakota thing, and I think that's a smart move considering what we've got ahead this week. Take what the market gives you. If you're happy with it, lock it out, kick back, grab some eggnog, and listen to the show.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes,
I think it's probably
indeed.
smart to. I think it's probably smart to not get too deep into the afternoon because, like, just like what we're all saying on here, like what Jack said, it's probably going to start drying up pretty significantly here towards the end of the day.
So unfortunately,
Another
Dakota,
thing-
I looked
Go ahead.
in. Go, Eddie. If you got something breaking, go for it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. All you.
I'm looking at the GameStop stuff from earlier. It's still pending updates on the last part of the trade, but then I will talk through it. But I think I traded. I said 5 or 6 times I rolled it. I probably traded like 20 different options contracts on it, but I will put the receipts out there.
I'd love to be your broker, Jack.
Hey, they only get what, 65 cents per contract? Ain't nothing.
I wonder if that guy still here is trading thousands of micros.
Oh, he's not. That took him about. He was the bee's knees for about 2 days, and then days 3 through 6, the 10,000 plus MNQs per day caught up to him.
It's all funny games. Consistency wins over the long run.
Until somebody loses an eye, right?
Yeah. It's unfortunate when you can see a trade report that is clearly an outward manifestation of mental illness, and I feel for those individuals. But that was the trade report of the year.
Yeah, that was.
You know,
We're
what I
pushing
wanted
a
to
little
add
high here.
is. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I wanted
Well,
to
I was
add
going to say real
tomorrow.
quick.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we missed my target by by 2 ticks here. Super annoying.
So still long, just the
Okay.
one MNQ, or did you lock
still
out?
that one guy?
Okay.
Yeah, that little one guy.
Tim has locked himself out of the Russell, still alive in the MNQ.
Yep.
What I wanted to add was tomorrow market's open till 12. Okay, if you decide to log in and look to trade, be very, very careful. I mean, there's been a lot of days that I can remember that half a day Christmas Eve where the market's dead, and then all of a sudden somebody lights the fire, and it's a big one. So be very careful how the market moves. Like I mentioned earlier, some of these retail, they got to clean house, and they got to get the books straight, and they might have a 500 lot that they got to get filled at some point, and that can really, really turn the blend around. So be careful tomorrow if you do decide to trade.
Yep. Did I hit your TP now?
Yeah. So while Eddie was talking, we just got my TP on that last leg of that MNQ trade, so I'm out. P&L on this XFA today is minus 221.54.
You're minus 221, and you're up like 900 something in the other.
Yeah, and the other one I'm up 929. So
Okay.
Good
net
trade.
about 700 plus.
Yeah, I wish I would have taken that breakout trade. That worked
Yeah.
out pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Turned out
It's a little
to be
slow,
pretty
I
nice.
guess.
Like I say, it's
All
kind of
seems-
like this movement higher here on NASDAQ is kind of slow and grindy. So a little tough
Yeah, I
to
think it
read.
has those 640s to 670s in mind. It's range day.
We got
Take a walk
NASDAQ
around.
73% long.
take a walk around some of the other stocks. Mag 7. Microsoft is down. The rest are up, ranging from Apple just barely up. Tesla up 3%, as is the law. We talked about 10-year yields. Nothing too much.
It held 420.69.
It is back. Let me take a look. It's back above 420 quite a bit. Now it's up at 433. They have left 420.69 in the dust. Unbelievable stuff. What's up, Andre?
What's up? No, not much. Well, did I miss anything? Did anyone take a shot? I see we're above VWAP in NASDAQ. Go to call the break.
Emphatically so.
Yeah. Eddie, what was the tilt there in the NASDAQ you just said? 70-some percent?
And it's chilling off a little bit. 69% long. They're a little up above 70% here just a little while ago. We got it back 70% long here. NASDAQ. The tilt.
Yes, coming up against VWAP right now. 59.94 last trade there. Tim B, did you take any more trades while I stepped away?
Yeah, I took a long in the NASDAQ, which was a nice little winner. Chipping away at my red P&L here. But just kind of letting the system play itself out, It's just the way it goes today.
How often does your system get you into a trade where you're like, what are we doing?
It happened fairly often, every once in a while. It happened back last time I was on. When was that? Last week. Got into a trade, and from a candlestick pattern that I sometimes look for, I was like, ooh, that's a nice long pattern. But it got me short, and I was like, oh no. And it turned out to be a pretty that was a full stop out on that one. So that wasn't fun. So that does happen, where I'm in my system trading it, and I'm just like, I don't like this trade. I don't want to take it, but I still take it because it's part of the system.
How often does the system get you a trade where you don't feel good about it that it's a winner? I'm sure that happens as well, right?
Sometimes on those zombie trend days, there have been some of those in the last month or two where it's trending higher, and we'll get to a point in the day where it's super extended, and then my system gets me long, and I'm like, no, don't want to get long here. It's like buying the top. No. But then sometimes we'll just keep going, and it works out. So I'm like, all right, well, because I remember it was back I think in October. There was one day where I literally took 3 trades, and I didn't want to take any of them, but they all ended up being winners. I was like, all right, well,
that's awesome.
The system was a better trader than me that day. So
that's a example of process over profits, right? Emotions.
Exactly.
No emotions.
Exactly.
Hey, Jack.
Somebody
question in the chat here for you. John Meyer wants to know, you might know the answer to this question, but does the tilt refer to the number of people long, short, or the number of contracts long or short? Because people have different sizes of contracts.
The number of people. One man or woman, one vote for the tilt.
Ooh, okay. I like it like
count.
that. That's how it should
What
be.
about head count?
So it's not overweighted by account.
Well, also, who it would be overweighted by are. I love all the degens out there, but it'd be weighted heavily in favor of the people that had 15 contracts on.
That's true.
Wouldn't that be more accurate to fade?
We should. That's what I'm saying. We should build a tilt that only tracks people with 15 contracts on.
Jeez. All in, all out.
That would be.
We'll eat Citadel alive.
Yeah.
Call it a Deegan tilt.
Yeah. A real tilt.
Right. 5 minutes, London close.
Thank you, Eddie. Not gonna lie, Eddie. Last week, struggling to remember that when the London close was coming. 5 minutes till the bottom of the hour. What do we have left on the? Oh, Jack, I'm ready when you are. If you want to do some call-ups, Gabe's ready.
Yeah, let's hit some live call-ups. We got a certificate to show today from Jaden, South Dakota. not North Dakota. Starting balance will be $87,800 in
There
the
we go.
live funded account.
Nice.
Trade in all of the equities and some gold for good measure. Great job, Jaden. And here's the rest of
Nice.
the list.
I love this. Australia.
USA and Australia. Shubham from Australia started with 80K, and then from the good old US of A, Daniel, Calvin, Fod, and John T. All moving up for the first time. These are new traders into the live funded account. Great trading. These results are not typical, but they occasionally happen, and it's quite the accomplishment for folks on
What
this
was that
list.
just
So.
like? What was that?
So
everyone's
much
a
stuff,
little loopy.
Andre. We're down so many people right now.
Oh yeah.
JD had to leave for a bit, so we'll make it work now.
We will make it work here. We got
we'll
Tim
put
B
on
with us. We
7
got Mr.
hours.
Dakota, number 2 on the big board.
And those are the live call-ups.
Thank you, Jack. We got a London close in about 3 minutes. Markets are trading sideways right now. Let's take a look at the micro Bitcoin. I know Hoop's always got one eye on the micro Bitcoin. MBT is the symbol. MBT. Still selling off. Bottomed out at $92,000, $92,900. $92,900. Wait a minute.
What's the point value of the Bitcoin futures?
Man, that's
It's
question.
so they're one
way to find out.
they're 1/10 of one Bitcoin. Sorry, what was the question?
Okay.
What's the tick value? It's always gapped.
Tick
so I
value
don't
or
even-
point value, either one.
yeah,
Jay says 50 cents in the chat. 50 cents.
50
It's a big
cents.
tick. Thank you. Coach Jay, how'd you know that so fast? How did you know that right off the top of your head?
He has every tick
Trade
value
it.
memorized.
He really did. He
Every single
must. Because he really must. That's, man, Jay, that quick with the draw. Well done, man. You can check out Coach Jay at the buzzer. Also, head coach of the Lunatics, performing very, very well. Sure, he'll be coach next January, next month. This is Big Sir. It was just a joke. I know. I can go look at the contract specs as well. It's more fun to put a trade on and find out that way. $59.95 last trade in the ES.
MP would do that.
100%. Not with a 1 lot either. 10 lot. Just to
Yeah,
really
you would be
find
doing
out.
that with just whatever clip size
Yeah.
the platform
Yeah.
is queued up
To
for.
really feel it.
someone
He'll
asked,
remember it that way. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why. I have
yes,
to
you
remember.
Someone asked why we don't have the full Bitcoin contract. Well, the full Bitcoin contract is 5 Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin at $100,000 roughly, that's like a $500,000 nominal value, which is actually a little bit more than the NQ at this point. And it's a lot more illiquid and volatile. I have a feeling if we had the full Bitcoins, people would use them to the full extent of that they
Wow.
could. It's just a tricky. It's a very volatile, tricky market. We would love to at some point, but
Is it traded on the CME? It's not, though, is it? Full Bitcoin futures are on the CME, Jack?
yeah. There's the original one before the micro. It's like 5 Bitcoins.
Got you. Oh, so that's an us. Oh, got you. Oh, I
The
see,
micro
I
is
see.
actually like is 1/50th of
Yes.
big daddies.
Bigs, yeah. Super expensive. Boy, who back in the day, those guys were trading big S&P bigs, S&P dash. 250 a tick, I believe, right? Hoop, 250 a tick in the S&Ps, the bigs? Insane.
Can you imagine though if we had the full Bitcoin so people could take 15
15 lot time. Do the math.
75 Bitcoins.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my.
Like it'd be hard to deal with.
Big NASDAQ 100 points a pop. Yeah.
Jack, I just read
Still
that article about MicroStrategy's buying that 5,262 Bitcoins at 106,000. Wow, that is just insane.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion besides I thought it was worth a heater to take a short. I would never, it's true what they say about markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent, especially with any of these, crypto things, Tesla. Like, it doesn't matter if you think that they're overvalued. Everyone knows that. You got to be very careful with those.
Yeah, it's a $72 million loss at the point of low. But I mean,
But they're selling.
I don't
it's
know
crazier
enough
than
about
that, Dakota,
Bitcoin.
because they're selling more stock to buy more Bitcoins all the time.
For infinity.
Yes.
Well, I think they're getting themselves lined up correctly. I mean, because Trump has mentioned that he's like he's pro this.
Yeah,
so
we're having a national reserve of Bitcoin.
The issue with MicroStrategy, and granted some hedge funds did blow out making this trade, is that MicroStrategy is valued at, let me take a look at this right now. Talk
A
amongst
multiple
yourself.
of Bitcoin, right?
Yes. Let's see this. MSER. Dolby. Old YOLO Dolby.
Dolby's trolling Jack in the chat.
Someone says it's worth $44 billion is their
What?
Bitcoin position.
Right, but the company itself is worth, here, I'm so close. Why won't you show it to me? Where?
Pushing, grinding higher here in the NASDAQ and the ES. Tim, are you flat?
I am flat.
You're
Yes.
good.
Jack, the last time I heard you say that was you're getting a lap dance.
Oh, gosh.
What'd I say? So close?
Oh!
So close. Show me.
Oh, sheesh.
Yes, I don't have the best manners in those places. All right, I found what I'm looking for. So,
Found it.
yes,
Eddie.
Eddie.
It's a
The
holiday
market
trade,
cap
folks.
of the company is 83 billion, and granted, it's down 40% from its high. So at one point, it was like the company was worth 3.5 or 4 times its Bitcoin holding. So naturally, you would think like, well, why don't I just long Bitcoin and short the company? Which, in the long run, yep, probably a good trade. But it went way out of whack because you can still get short squeezed in the stock, and that's what happened. But the trade's been working out recently, that's for sure.
I mean, essentially, MicroStrategies would just be, 100% correlated to Bitcoin eventually. Is that what's going to end up happening?
Charts look very
Oh.
similar.
100%.
Someone says, what do they do? What does MicroStrategies do? I'm not sure.
They just collect Bitcoin. Like, they really
Yeah.
do. They used to be like a software services business that,
Remember that.
and they still have some revenue from that, mainly used to pay down the interest. What they've been doing on all the Bitcoin they've bought on loan, but what they've been doing now is they sell, it's a quite genius piece of financial engineering, right? So they're selling the stock at like zero. They're selling the stock to like zero interest convertible shares or something it's kind of complicated, but they're just selling at 0% interest to buy more Bitcoin.
That's what someone was saying in the chat. It's all convertible notes.
Coach Hoop says, eggs in one basket is a scary thing.
Dolby sounds legit. They're doing something.
I don't know enough to say anything on it, but just from a risk management standpoint, it does sound a little scary, right? I mean, you never know.
It seems sustainable, Nick for a day. I mean,
people said the same thing about the housing market until 08.
got about 20 minutes left here on Fast Market. How we doing on the list back there, Gabe? See what else we got. Check offs. Turning into a holiday trade now, certainly in the NASDAQ. A bit of a range now. Look at the 5-minute last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, the last 25 minutes or so. Lower end of the range. Call it 612s. Upper end of the range. Call it 630s.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for us to get into those 40s to 50 area, which I still think NASDAQ could still hit up there.
So Dakota, I think I mentioned it before. There was a time a few weeks ago when that was going parabolic MicroStrategy, where at the market, if you went 1 year out for a put or a call, like a straddle, like at the market, it was worth about the same as the total company.
Oh my
stock
God.
price. So that's what I was doing with the short, like a way out of the money short put versus shorting a little bit of the stock. It was like GameStop levels of craziness.
That's talk about volatility. Talk about theta.
Right, but no one wants to be short. It's so hard to be short those calls just because you never know.
Well, the thing is, that's an example of where you could be wrong in the direction and still make money.
Yes, 100%.
How about Joe says he remembers buying calls on Monday and selling single contracts for about 5,000 to 6,000 on profit on Friday for weeks.
Good deal. Good work if you can get it.
Question here in the chat from FX Coti. Can you explain the trade that Dakota has taken for up $12,000? Well, I don't think it was just one trade. Dakota probably took 2 trades on fast markets, but the other $8,000 he came in here with, that's from overnight, I believe, Dakota.
Yeah, yep, overnight. I posted on the Twitter, on the Twitter X, last night, actually. Worked out pretty well.
Hey, were people coming at you on Twitter, Dakota? Did I see something like that?
I don't know anymore, Andre. If they do, I just ignore them.
Any more market wizards coming at you?
All the yeah. I've stopped caring. Before I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe this guy has a good opinion. And then they just keep going and going and going. I'm like, okay, he really doesn't want to have a constructive conversation. They just want to talk trash. But Peter Brandt.
Oh, say naming names.
Was well, we all know him, right? He's
I like this.
I mean, he has like 500,000 followers, and like my first day on Twitter, he just like flat out called me a scam and just went at me. But since then, yeah, he had like 500,000 or 600,000 followers, maybe 700,000 followers.
Dakota.
And he's been in the futures industry for probably as long as like Hogue and like some of the veterans here. I just think he's 60 or 70 years old. I'm not sure. But since then, he's kind of turned around, and he's, I don't want to say promoting Top Step, but I think me and him share a similar vision in terms of what this prop firm industry is and how it's looking versus what it possibly could be.
Good stuff.
Social media. All right. European close has come and gone. Oh, yeah. We got hot streaks and we got live P&Ls, of course. Some appreciations. I think we got Tuckman. I hope we have Tuckman. I got some questions to ask him. We didn't get to him last Friday. We'll see if we can wind him up and get him going right before Christmas.
He is on the menu.
He is on the menu. I think I know I'm going to ask him. I'm asking about how the Bears were They're fist pumping last week, and he's a perma bull. So let's see what he has to say to the Bears because they had their day in the sun on Wednesday and Thursday last week.
Oh, the Market Bears. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Market Bears. No, not the Chicago.
I was gonna say, I can't remember the last fist pump I seen from the.
No, it's 11 in a row, I believe. Jack, how many games have we lost in a row? 11, 12, 10?
At least, I think like 10. We were 4-2 at one point,
Yeah.
and then Jaden Daniels broke everyone's mind with that Hail Mary, and they have not won since.
10. Thank you, Hoop. Yeah.
This week. This week's their week.
Who are we playing, Dakota? Why are you so certain? Who are we playing?
Seattle, I think.
Seattle.
Here or there? There, forget it. All right,
I don't
finding
know.
some buyers. Finding some buyers. Here
Here
we
we
go.
go.
Market woke up a little bit.
We got to those 650s.
Yeah, we hit a bunch of resistance here earlier, so it'd be interesting to see what happens this time around.
Where's here? Where's
Got
here?
So I've got a point of control from Friday at 663.
663.
So it looks like it rejected off of that. On the top step daily levels, it looks like on the top step daily levels, the point of control is 675. The one I drew is 663. It's slightly different because I use volume profile and this chart to look at it, but roughly the same area here. And it rejected off of 675s to 663s, kind of rejected in this area earlier. So it could be forming a double top, possibly.
Okay.
Or it might accumulate right here and go higher because it's been kind of grindy. So
these guys are talking about it's about a 30-point pop there in the NQ. That's straight 21,660. This is the area of interest for Tim in the NASDAQ. And then we got S&P's above 6,000 now, 6,003, 6,003. Go ahead, Dakota.
No, I agree. I mean, range-bound day, right, where we were buying. I'd love to have bought those 490s down there.
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh man,
Yeah, that would have been nice with some hindsight capital. But yeah, we broke through those. What was it? 580s for the breakout trade to reach up into this zone. We are now there. We are now at this next resistance zone. So the question is going to be, is this where we turn around, pull back, and we go back towards where we opened around 600 again? Or do we go back to the overnight highs up here towards these 730s? I mean, that can be a possibility now if we can break through this 730s, 740s to make a run at the overnight high. I wouldn't be surprised. We break the overnight we broke the overnight lows and reversed. What if we break the overnight highs and reverse? That pissed everyone off.
So yes, it would. Yeah. Merry Christmas. So let's see if Jack's standing by. Jack does have the keys to the house account. House account's not taking a trade. It's staying disciplined today. Coda perhaps contemplating a short up here. New highs just put in the NASDAQ. 21,681 new high.
One thing for gold, you can't hold it down, man.
Still going?
Yeah, gold's having a nice little run right here.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Uh-huh.
$8 pop in the middle of an $8 pop right now in the gold.
One thing I will say about the NASDAQ is that on the 5-minute, I mean, we just did have this like consolidation right here, right above the 200 EMA. So, I mean, it's pushing up into here. So that could have been the consolidation right here before the big push. But at the same time, looks like we got two other points of resistance here on the 5-minute that's currently above right now, but it's kind of struggling to get out of there. So we'll see.
See if we can hold above these highs. We're actually putting new highs now in the NASDAQ. ES, yeah, same there. ES 6,009, call it 6,010. High of the day there, just put in. It's like NQ still got a little more gas in the tank. We'll find out. 1,684. Nothing on the tilt in. I mean, Eddie did see a long tilt in the gold. I believe it was gold. points in the money. Nothing really showing on the tilt. Keep an eye on that though, because we are getting up to the highs like Dakota was talking about. Still got a long bias of long bias in the tilt in the Nasdaq. Interesting. Buyers. Yeah, we can do hot streaks and P&Ls if we're ready.
It feels like a slow day, Andre, but we're 200 points from that low.
Markets, if you stay patient, like you stay, you call that breakout above 580s, I think you call it. You want to get long from 580s, 490s, obviously, too, Dakota. Yeah, 200 points, yes.
Yeah. It feels like it's quietly volatile. Is that a good word?
I think you just made that up. You made that term up, Dakota.
I did. It feels like it's slow today, but then you go and you measure this. I'm like, that's like over 200 plus points from the bottom to the high, and then at the open, right when we first opened, we had a 200 point sell off. So today we had a 200 point sell off, followed by a 200 point rally, and then like 100 point swings in between. So
there was a 125 lot on the chasing the bid just a few moments ago.
Nasdaq.
Yeah.
Interesting. Still pushing here, new highs.
Yeah, we're pushing.
Yeah, we are. See if we want to test these 700s. 21,700 last trade. 690s.
Maybe we're just the quiet ones.
Everyone's got one foot out the door, ready for the holidays.
It's a time for reflection.
Yes, absolutely. Nick for a tickle saying last Christmas Eve was a bloodbath. In the markets, that is. The markets.
Not at his home, yeah.
No, not at the market. Yes, that would be bad. That would not be good.
I will say, though, if we look at the 15-minute here on NASDAQ, I mean, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the 6th bar up in a row on the 15. So that's getting a little extended, but I mean, that's,
still going here, guys.
From a statistical standpoint, we should be seeing a red bar soon, but sometimes the NASDAQ has other ideas.
Put it mildly, yes. Let's see if we get up to these 700. So we were perhaps thinking about taking a short up around the 680s. We're taking a little bit of heat right now. Like Dakota said, think about, do we make new highs and turn around? It is a ranged day. Basically, if we want to keep going, the market's going to need to find the volume. We need to find the volume to keep pushing higher here. So that's the real question, what Dakota's asking. Will more volume come in here and keep pushing this market higher, or will volume peter out?
I would vote for a house account short.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
I would say upper 80s, 680s.
All right, we're short one from 84. Actually, I took it off I made $61 there because I still had from the. Now we're short one.
Okay, the risk is 706.
Okay,
I don't hate that. I think that's actually a good idea. I like that.
We all agree. We all agree on this trade. Yeah. So, Jack, what price did we get? 82s.
A little better than that. I had to scratch. I had the wrong click size on here. So let's say we got 85.
I was got short one NASDAQ, 21,685. 685. Just buy shorts in the chat says, can Dakota explain why here to short? Dakota, what did you see there?
It's a feeling I get.
Yeah.
No,
I know exactly what it is. It is a feeling.
There's a little bit of intuition. I mean, I'm looking at support and resistance, right? And I'm taking a look at some of the support and resistance that we had overnight. And you can see how I'm drawing out the support and resistance. I mean, this is an idea, right? This is simply an idea. Resistance, resistance, resistance. and then we have a pretty extended run up into this zone, and so whether it's a scalp, I don't. It's not. That's definitely not going to be a play to where we're going to go all the way down to 540s, but for 20, 30 points for a short in this zone. Now, was that just it? Right? Was that it? That that could have been right where that was 30 points. I think we could see maybe a move down to 50 again, maybe 50 40s. Like that's also a possibility.
So I agree with Dakota on this, and I like it because if you look at Edgeful here, another stat that I look at is if you look at the NASDAQ average consecutive bars, I got it customized. I just set it to the 15-minute right here. 15-minute chart, and you can see that average green bars is 4 in a row. And so you can see over here, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the 6th bar up if it closes up. And regardless, it's over 5 bars up. So statistically speaking, according to what the data in Edgeful said, there should be a red bar, at least one red bar coming fairly soon. Now, it's obviously not guaranteed, because it's the market. Can't say with the absolute statement that this will turn around right here. But given how extended it is off the lows, and since we haven't had like a dramatic pullback of any kind on the 15, could be seeing some pullback here in the next couple of minutes or bars here on the 15.
I would always call that the roulette theory.
Oh. Gambler's fallacy.
Yeah, where it's
speaking of roulette,
red or black, and then if it's red 10 times in a row, then But markets are a little bit different than a roulette wheel. Roulette wheel is consistent probabilities every single time, but the market is definitely overextended, and that has aided my idea of wanting to get in short up here at these 680s.
Hey, Dakota, do you see what they did in Vegas? They added a 000 on the roulette table now.
People,
did they really?
There's a 000
they needed,
now.
They needed some extra money or what?
They ran out of ideas. 000.
Where does that go on the wheel? Where did they put it?
They squeeze it in. They squeeze 000. I'm not kidding. 000. Yeah. 000.
Wow.
You gotta be
making the odds that much better.
Yeah, I know. What are we doing? All right.
If you do the breakdown of the odds of a roulette wheel, it's like it's so heavily stacked against you. It's it's just not. You have to just catch a. Yeah, you have to catch a house down run. That's the only way you can.
It's such a dumb game, but
it's the most purely. Yeah, it's the most purely. You can see it's right on the wheel that the odds are against you, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I still play it, and I have so much fun playing it, even though it's such a dumb game.
Evan in the chat kind of got what I was going at. Independent versus dependent probabilities.
Right. Okay, Gabe, come on in, Gabe. Gabe's got some P&Ls and hot streak.
What's going on? What's up? JD went to the vet, so we're covering real quick. Wishing JD all the best with his pup. Let's go ahead. Not for JD himself, of course, but let's.
Yes, that was
insurance.
That was where. Yeah. All right, let's run some hot streaks real fast. So here are your funded trader hot streaks. We've got Ali in the XFA for 64 days, totaling a profit of 5,300. We got Ganesh, 32 days in the XFA for a total profit of 2,100. Toriro, we have 30 days in the XFA for a total profit of 8,000. Gardalis in for 29 days in the XFA for a total profit of 11,000. And Stephen H hanging out at 28 days in the XFA for a total profit of 2,200. So keep it up.
Nice.
Great to see. Do we want to hit live P&Ls too, just to knock those out?
Yeah, I think so. Let's do it.
Yeah, I took it off since we're coming up on time, and I don't want to deal with it. So up 238.
Nice.
Good stuff, Jack.
Good.
Heck yeah.
Little stocking stuffer. I like it.
All right, here are your top 5 live P&Ls from the end of last week. We've got Hugo coming in with just under 10 grand in the account on Friday. We have Austin, $7,900, Romaine, $5,100, Tim, $4,500, and Muhammad H, not the Muhammad that we know on TV, but for a total of $4,100. So great job to you 5 to close out last week.
Well done.
Back to you.
Thank you. You know, Ali's got 60 some odd days, 64 days? We're just kind of shoulder shrugging at that because of our good friend Delesh, but 64 days is a hell of a run. So anyways, with that being said, we're coming to the conclusion of fast markets. Again, we got way more in store today. I feel like a holiday trade. We got Tuckman coming up. We got Power Hour later today, shoulder tab group coaching. You know the drill. So let's get some appreciations in. It's going to be our last one before Christmas. So we'll go around the horn. So Mr. Tim B looking very festive. He's got to hit the road here shortly. A 5-hour trek north. Mr. Tim, what are you appreciative for?
Yes, sir. I am appreciative for a little break, some time with some family. I'm just excited and thankful that I've got a great family to go back to in Indiana and get to spend some time with them. My sister lives out of the country, but she's back stateside for Christmas, so I'm grateful that she's back and we get to spend some time with her. And yeah, just for a little break, little R&R, much needed break and rest. So I'm grateful for that.
Well said. Well, Merry Christmas, Tim. Safe travels. See you on the other side. Dakota, what are you appreciative for on this Monday?
Health. After being sick last week, I'm very appreciative to be feeling better and health. Never be able to take that for granted. That's for sure.
Well said. Well said, Jack. I'm going to see you for a little bit. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All the best wishes to you. Jack, what are you appreciative for, man? We're going to see you, down the road, I guess.
Yeah, down the road for at least probably 4 weeks. Yeah, so I'm appreciative for family because we need to rely on them sometimes. As I mentioned, we are having not one but 2 babies at 6 a.m. the day after Christmas. So that's where I'm going to be. I'm in it, but I'm thankful for it. So
Merry Christmas.
That's what I got.
Christmas babies. Awesome stuff. All right, guys. I'm appreciative for everyone. I'm gonna be around here all day. Maybe I'll give my appreciation at the end of Power. Anyways, we got a morning recap coming up. We got Tuckman in the house too. Let's see if we get him wound up right before Christmas. We got Shoulder Tap. We got all the goods today. You know this is Top Step TV. Let's go. Tim. Peter Tuckman, welcome to Top Step Team. This is your last appearance before the holiday break. Let's get right into it. Mr. Tuckman, you are the Perma Bull. The last week, Bears had their day. The market bears had their day. They had the 2-day run sell-off that Mr. Powell started, and we continued into Thursday. We did find some buying on Friday. But my question is, your Bears, your friends that are Bears, do they come into you say, ha, look at this? And then on Friday when we buy it back up, you say, listen, the Bulls always win. How does that go between you and your friends, your colleagues?
You know what? Look, it's really important to understand what really happened on Wednesday. And I actually had the fortune Thursday or Friday morning to, who Steve Leisman is. He's the CNBC guy who goes to the press conferences with and he's a good friend of mine, and the guy's just a bright guy. Anyway, so let's talk about exactly what happened. The market 6 weeks ago, the market was looking at a quarter-point cut with 4 cuts in 25 and 26. Yep. We know that the cuts are based on economic data. That changes week after week, month after month. We've seen it all year long, where they change their positions based on PCE, PPI, DWI, DUI, whatever's going on in your life. Anyway, all that good economic data. But anyway, apparently 2 weeks ago, and that's what I asked Steve Leisman, I said, should we be surprised that the market overreacted in such a way? And he goes, no, I've been talking about this for 2 weeks already, that they had already, that the majority of the Fed guys had already changed their posturing because the economy is doing way better than expected. And why should we expend a bullet from the gun if we don't need to? Right. So why should we expend a bullet when we don't need to? The economy's in better shape than we thought. So apparently they had already told the street that we were looking for 2 cuts each. However, if you listened in detail to the press conference, there's a number of factors that sort of escalated the sell-off that we saw. First was that people maybe didn't hear what they were saying, and they were really, we always talk about it, unrequited love. If you promise the market something, you don't give it to them, they get really sticky and prickly. So that was part of the sell-off. The second thing was, if you listen to the details of the press conference, he did start to talk for the first time about the wild card that Mr. Trump is, that we don't know what's going to happen in 2025, that the tariff story and China and all that could really escalate things to get a little bit prickly, as it were. As we saw this morning already, Mr. Trump is thinking about, going after the Panama Canal and starting to charge people to go through there when, in fact, we gave the Panama Canal to Panama a couple of years ago. But anyway, so you don't really know. We know he's a bit of a wild card. So apparently Powell brought that up a number of times in the news conference. Another thing that everyone needs to note, and this goes into the nooks and crannies, what's happening. You all know that on Friday we had the option expiration end of year, massive trade. We also had the S&P rebalance trade. So think about it. If you're an indexer, who gets the orders on those days? The guys who had the sell orders for the indexers, right? So basically, rebalances are a flat trade. There's 100 billion going in, 100 billion coming out. Okay, but the market may not react that way. So think about all the guys who buy the index orders, right? They have to promise the customer that they're going to beat the VWAP, beat the volume weighted average price on Friday's close. Okay, so you say to them, look, I guarantee you the closing price on Friday if you give me your order. And think about it. Some guy's got 100 million shares of Oracle to sell on Friday, is watching the market tank down 1,000 on Wednesday. He's got to get ahead of the ball on that, because he can't let the market go down 1,000, not make a sale at all, and then not be able to go back to his customer and go, we don't know that the market wasn't going to sell off further on Thursday, Friday. And if it would have, the guy with that index order would have been screwed. He would have had to pay for the order. Okay. So that escalated a lot of the sell pressure in the market overall. The option also, think about it. The way the option expiration works is that the option market makers have to hedge themselves against all the options that they're putting out there. And a lot of that flow is sell orders. And so they also watch the market go down 1,000. So they're all going to be playing catch up. So all of that put extra sell pressure on the market on Wednesday. Now, and the reason I know that is because look what happened on Thursday and Friday. We took back half of the losses. There was no further breakdown in the market. We came in GDP on Thursday, better than expected. Market rallied. It broke down in the afternoon a little just because we had like 4 billion for sale at 2 o'clock on Thursday. But Friday we had a beautiful rally. The market acted like $1 million. So the way that if you look back at the way Wednesday, Thursday, Friday played out, it proves to me that it was an overreaction, and the fact that we took back half of the profits was legitimate.
Interesting. Question. First, I want to ask you this, and I want to ask you about Wall Street Global looking to 2025. There's a little bit of a debate around here as to when the Santa Claus rally actually takes place, start to finish. Is it after Christmas? Is it all of December? What say you?
You know what? I was on FinTech TV this morning, and it turned out I always thought that it was like the last 3 weeks of December. No, it's the day after Christmas until January 2nd. There is an actual period of time that is the legitimate Santa Claus rally time. I had no friggin' I've been chatting with Santa for years. I had no friggin' idea when this rally was. So yes, it's the 26th of December until the 2nd of January. So we still have plenty of time for him to show up. He's an old man now. The reindeer have arthritis. They can't get here. Forget it. It'll be fun.
Very good, Peter. Thank you. I always thought it was all of December for whatever reason. Now
Me
we know.
too.
Yeah. It's a definitive date, December 26th to January 2nd. All right, tell us what's going on at Wall Street Global now and looking into 2025. What do you and Mr. David Green have on tap for 2025?
So look, everybody should know that we collaborated with TopStep this year, and it was a huge change for us, right? We are a technical analysis risk management platform academy teaching people how to trade this market using technicals. We have a boot camp, which is an amazing week with David Green, right? We have 21 hours, 21 videos, 400 hours of archival content. We teach everything, and we collaborated with TopStep. We are now 80% trading futures because of you guys. So look, everybody's on TopStep. Great platform. Love all of you. You've been great, but you still need to learn technicals to trade this market. If you want to benefit the most from your relationship with TopStep, is to join Wall Street Global so that you learn technicals, and then you can absolutely kick ass when you're trading the futures. It's done amazing, and the futures have been so cooperative over the last 4 months for us that David and the crew said they're having the best time ever. So you know what? Look, you got TopStep, you got Wall Street Global. That is a match made in heaven. So everybody, come and join us. We're probably going to have a masterclass mid-January, but go. It's affordable, it's accessible, it's fun. Join us. It's as much fun as you and I have every Monday and Friday.
Thank you. Quick, how long have you and David Green known each other?
We started on Wall Street exactly the same day in 1985, May 28th, 1985. It was the day Ronald Reagan rang the opening.
That was your first day with Reagan.
Correct. I did not even know that. They just put up a picture of the day when Trump was coming down last week. They put up a photo of the day Ronald Reagan rang the bell, and I realized that was the first day I worked on Wall Street.
That's wild. Well, man, Mr. Tuchman, thank you so much. I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. If we don't see you until the New Year, go check out Wall Street Global.
It's my birthday today.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to tell us, man.
I've been 55 for 10 years today.
Everyone in the chat.
Have a happy birthday.
You guys are the best.
You're the man, Peter Tuchman. Go check out Wall
Love
Street
you
Global. We're going to take a quick break here on TopStep TV. Happy birthday, happy Hanukkah, happy New Year's, happy Christmas, all that stuff. Tuchman, we'll see you on the other side. Take care, man. Love you.
Back at you.
Back
at you, guys.
Look at that. Chats love it. That guy's. All right, we'll be back after this. We're going to take a quick break. Welcome back on this holiday Monday. We got the power player of all power players joining us from Brazil. We got Camilo in the house. Camilo, welcome to Top Step TV. How we doing, my friend?
Thank you so much. I'm doing just fine. How about you, guys?
Excellent. Cannot complain.
Doing
I got
well.
my partner Dolby time. Dolby, are you in the chapel now? You were now I know why you took the private jet back. You came back to get married. Is that what?
Yes, Trey. Follow the storyline. Went from
Now he's
the cabin to the jet to, I think, home. And then now we are in the Chicago Cultural Center. So one of two domes in that building used to be the library, Chicago Library. And now it's good for wedding photos. So after this, I'll get back on the PJ, back in the cabin. We should have some professional photographs coming up.
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. Well, we'll
Yeah,
stay tuned there. We've always got the keys to the house account. Let's get back to Camilo Ring, number 14 on the XFA big board. Man, we bring the big players out today. Camilo, I got to ask you, first question I ask everyone making their Top Step TV appearance. How did you find Top Step, and how did Top Step find you?
Actually, before trading U.S. futures, I only traded the Brazilian market, B3, and as I use my name on Instagram and stuff, it's the ladle, like I was saying before to you guys. It's the slang for the guy in Brazil who negotiates dollar for other currencies. I am specialized in trading dollar and dollar for Brazilian real in B3 in our stock market, no, in our exchange. So volatility started to be messy, and then I started to search for other options. Found some prop firms that had some rules kind of bizarre, and a friend of mine that it's a business partner, he said about top set and the top step metrics, like you just need to pass, you have a global loss limit, and you need to get to the gain
Profit
what's the
target?
word? Profit target, yes. You just need to get to the profit target. The drawdown, it's EOD, and there are no small letters. We say in Brazil, it's a slang in Brazil, small letters on
Fine
a
print.
contract.
Yes.
Yeah, that's no joke.
No secrets.
Yeah, no secrets. You only go there if you're good. You pass, you trade, you can withdraw your money, and then I started to be in love with that set.
Too kind.
Yeah. No, I spent a lot of time in other prop firms, but Top Step, I'm not merchandising. I am, but it's not the objective. Top Step, it's the best for sure. Like there's nothing compared to Top Step on the market.
You're too kind. I like you already, Camilo. I like you already. Did we just become friends? All right, let's get right into these markets. Dolby's got the house account open. All right, let's get to know Camilo, the trader. Talk to us about your process. Talk to us about your charts. What are you looking at and when you're taking trades, Camilo? How'd you get to become 14, right? Tell us about the trade.
Okay. Well, I started trading in 2017. I was graduating on the law school, and then I skipped the law school because a friend of mine presented me the future market. So basically, I fell in love with technical analysis. I don't know if in the American futures it's kind of uh, how can I say it's possible to taper read. People do taper reading or not?
Yes, tape read, of course. Of course. Yeah, yeah. Of
Tape
course.
read?
Okay.
It depends on the trader. I would say it's probably not super frequent for people to be trading exclusively off like the ladder or the dome.
Yeah, yeah. In Brazil, people like to trade like seeing who is acting on the market by their orders. Like it's kind of dumb and so subjective. I don't know. I prefer the graphics. Like I see the graphic like a piece of art. You know, when you go to the Louvre on Paris and you see a person staring an art, like people stay hours looking at the same thing, the same draw, and people do that like hundreds of times, couple times, a few times, I don't know, but they do that because they want to take an explanation of what the person who painted that was trying to express. And I see the graphics that way. You know, the graphics tells me a story. I like to use some indicators, but I trade. How can I say my setup? My trading setup is on the eye. You know,
Okay.
I love
visual.
Fibonacci.
Very
It's
visual.
visual. Yeah, visual. It's the word.
Yes.
I really love Fibonacci, and I used to like Fibonacci before knowing and studying the market because of the golden rule and stuff like that. And when I saw that it was a tool on the market that I can use to adjust my trades and see my entries and my targets and my stops, I started using the retraction. So one of the biggest moves on my career as a trader was trading only heavily. My heaviest trades were using Fibonacci retractions because you have the biggest like risk return of all, and if you merge Fibonacci retracement with the Dahl theory, like the wave theory, it makes all sense. You just need to take the context of the market. You know, you cannot. I cannot. I cannot take the graphic like now and do a Fibonacci like this and
Sure.
Not like that.
All right, well, question, Camilo. What are you seeing?
Gonna
Camilo,
work.
I'm going to ask you, Camilo, a question. What are you seeing right now? Because right now we're looking at the Nasdaq. We got the S&Ps up, right? That's what we like to trade. That's what you like to trade as well. Currently, we're seeing last trade here 21,685 in the NASDAQ. Last trade. High of the day 21,726. Looked like it was just a stop run to get up there. Let's talk about trade setups because we'd love to take trades together. And what are you seeing here in terms of the market? What are you seeing right here, right now?
Right now to trade, you say?
Yes, please. If you see any setups, please let us know. But I'd like to get. What are you reading the markets? What's your read on what Nasdaq is doing right now?
This is a situation that I'll probably use Fibonacci retracement because he did a big wave right here, and let me push this to the side, and he's on the middle of it, and it's this. It's too many colors. This moving average is an 200 simple moving average. This red one, it's exponential moving average, and he's on the half of it. So he's on a decision point. I like to take trades like direction trades.
Sure.
And the less the better, I prefer to don't take too much risk. The best time for me to trade it's when New York opens, and I like the volatility of Dow Jones and the volatility that Nasdaq and S&P. Sometimes they are kind of stuck in a region. Like today, Nasdaq was kind of stuck to do a movement, and then he just had a big acceleration. And for me, it's the better time to trade, like in 15, 30 minutes, you end your day, you do a big, a great value, money value, and that's sweet for me. That's okay for me. But for now, I wouldn't do anything on Nasdaq. S&P probably the same, because it's the same. They are the how can I say it?
Correlated.
Correlation.
Correlated.
Yeah.
Correlation. It's so strong today between them and Dow Jones. Dow Jones.
Oh, I don't have it.
I don't see.
I got the Dow.
Dow-
Oh shoot!
You got it, Trey?
I got it pulled up right here. Take a look at the Dow. Yeah, you got the Nasdaq and ES selling off right here. So I even took those shorts. You had to take some heat above
Nice
those
range.
700s.
It's a nice range, Dre.
Yes, it was.
Camilo, yeah. Pull up the YM real quick, Dre.
Selling off also. Yeah, I am. 43,143. We're down about 200 points off the highs here. We're kind of the charts, like Camilo was saying, it does look like they are correlating today. We're talking about the Dow. We're talking about the Nasdaq. We're talking about the ES. All look like they caught a bit of a sell-off. They were talking ES, call it 7-8 point sell-off there. Nasdaq saw about 30 points worth of selling, but seeing a snap back right now. Range. Shelby, show us what you say when you say sweet range. What are you seeing over there?
Oh, the range. Let's look at the 1 hour range today.
Okay, we're talking 1 hour fast markets.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Camilo is a range trader, but when I wake up in the mornings, I just try to find whatever the biggest range is and then mark those levels down and then kind of go from there. So we had a nice little stop run below like 21,511, and then kind of went all the way back up to the top and then started finding a little bit of resistance. So the range has been big, but for a slow day, pretty profitable, I'd say, as long as you're anticipating kind of this behavior today. Then I think it was relatively safe bet to assume that we would be range bound, considering that we do have a 2-day holiday coming up in the markets. Camillo, I was looking at your screen. Yep.
Sorry about that. So you're saying you're a trader that looks the context of the market before trading it in a big time scale of time, and search to do trades on the extremes, like sell on the top and buy on the deep.
Yep.
Basically. Okay.
Yeah, that's the basic range trade concept. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I am a person who likes to trade direction. By formation, I would love to swing trade the futures. I really love to swing because my read on 4 hours and 1 hour and the daily chart are pretty better than reading the 15, 5, and 1 minute trade. But it's still profitable. As I said, give me a chart and an asset.
It doesn't matter.
Trade anything.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
In the chat, he said he'll trade anything with a chart, just like a piece of art in the Louvre. Just let him take a look at it.
Yeah.
And figure it out. All right, well, hey, all right, the sellers got rejected there. We're back up to the upper end of the range, looking at the NASDAQ. Sellers took it down to 70s, call it 21,670. We're about 25 points higher now. We're going to close in on the 700s. Let's trade 21,699. So if you are the range trader, you'd be taking a short up here. Now, as Dolby knows, and I agree, very hard to take a naked short. Very hard on a slow day. But right now, I'm going to see if the sellers want to give it a shot again up at this 700 level. Call it 690 to 700 in the NASDAQ. In the S&Ps, somewhere around the 615 level. Last trade, 21,000. Or, sorry, S&P's last trade, 60.12. 60.12. Dow Jones seeing a little bit of selling here. Crude turned up about 40 cents off the lows there. Last trade, $68.97. And gold saw the buying during fast markets. What Tim B said, hey, look at gold popped about $8 there. It did. It's kind of stalled out. Still $8 higher, but $7 off the lows right now.
Want to bet something?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry.
Of course.
Again. I sorry about that. I interrupt you.
I do.
Can you show? Okay, Nasdaq, 1 hour. You said you are range trader. Probably you're going to start selling. I don't know if you do. It's not the term I want to use, but martingale. If you do multiple entries.
I wouldn't
or you do
martingale, but like
not martingale, but multiple entries. Not like you define that these top and this one are the regions you want to sell. So you start selling here, sell more, you sell more here. It depends on the way the price. Yeah, scaling it. Yes.
Yeah, you
My
can.
English is not that well, but I bet with you.
What?
Maybe not today. Maybe tomorrow. We are going to see Nasdaq touching at least the
Who's calling? Milo, who's calling you?
Red. Yes, sorry about that. The
No,
red.
it's okay.
The red.
Was that an EMA?
He's talking about scaling.
Yeah. No, it's EMA.
EMA.
And the green one, it's an SMA. But to go to the SMA, we have this ignition candle. It's not an ignition candle. It's like a what is the fucking what's the word? It's like a
Well, you know one of those words.
You know the one word. I heard that one.
Continuation.
My goodness.
Oh, I heard
continuation candle.
What's
Yeah, the continuation candle. Sorry about that.
No, don't worry. I love it, man. I love it. Continuation. Continuation.
Yeah, because this is like a pattern. It's like a W, and you have like an I don't know the term in English, but it's an LTB, like a line of trend, down
Lower
trend
highs?
line. No, like this one. I'll trace
Show
it.
us on the chart.
It's
Show
a
us on the chart.
trend line. Trend line.
Yeah.
Downtrend?
Yeah. Downtrend
Yeah.
line.
Say a downtrend.
Yeah. Okay.
He thinks the market's gonna be lower. That's what he's saying. He's betting. He wants to bet us that the market's gonna be lower.
Oh, I'm betting that this is going to go up.
Higher? I could see it. At least
Oh,
like
can you?
2180s. Yeah, like why not?
Yeah, maybe
By,
yeah.
like,
We
today,
go.
it could touch 2180s. Where you did it
2180,
today?
yeah.
Yesterday?
Maybe
Or
more.
20?
Maybe more.
I mean, if it's like even the 4 hour is pretty range bound. So you have like 21,511 to let's say like 21,740s as a 4 hour range, and so you know it could on a 4 hour chart it could very easily run 21,800s and come back down again, just because of the 4 hour pattern itself. You know, the wicks can be really long to get outside the range, but it has a lot of time to get back inside the range. So
Yeah.
you have to be pretty careful with that. It's a long setup like that.
If you see the 4 hour, you can see the two things. You can see the flag formation, and you can see the search for the biggest
Going higher.
for the biggest lines. Jesus Christ, moving average. The 20s, 200s, exponential and simple, and the 500. So probably that's a bet. He is accumulating and distributing to go up again. It's just a bet, you know. I don't
I
swing
see it.
trade because you guys don't let me.
We prefer not. We don't. It's not worth the risk. It's just not worth the risk from our point of view.
I see that.
100%. But yes, I take that back. If you're a live funded trader with us and you obviously have direct access to our risk team, they will work with you and they will discuss ways where you possibly can do it. But you need to get to that point. You need to graduate, so to speak, to get there. Hey, don't look now, but the buyer stepped back in.
Shocker.
Yes, last trade 60-17, 60-16, I should say. Looking at the NQ, we did pop up above the 21,700 level. Last trade 21,702. With that being said, we're gonna go to Professor Horn is back in class. Professor Horn is back in class today. I'm gonna throw it to my man Eddie. Not gonna lie, Eddie, on this day was just not the same without you here last week. So, Miss Professor Horn, please take us to school.
This is a good one. On this day, December 23rd, 1823, a visit from St. Nicholas, perhaps the most famous and influential Christmas poem ever. And that must be Santa Claus calling me right now. And I'll get back to you. All right. It was published in the Troy Sentinel newspaper in New York by anonymous author called arguably the best known verse ever written. It would shape modern image of Santa Claus, the right jolly old elf. And it's often referred to, you probably heard this one, Night Before Christmas or 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, in reference to its opening lines. A playful poem tells a story of a family setting in Christmas Eve. Here's a little excerpt from the poem. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. I think we've all heard that one. 1823, it's been around that long, and it's still one of the best, most foremost poems we hear on Christmas. So back to you, Andre. Merry Christmas, everybody.
You too, buddy. That's absolutely all right. Let's keep an eye. man, no graphic. My bad. You just say hang tight, Gabe. My bad. Thank you for taking us to school. All right, breakout trend. We're breaking out above this trend. Camilo, buyers coming in here, 67s in the ES. Looking at the NASDAQ, we cleared the 21,700s. Camilo, do you think there's still more room to the upside here? Would you be looking to be are you bullish still on the NASDAQ?
Yep. For the bigger time, yes.
Yes.
Nice. What's your favorite setup? What's your A+ setup for you?
My eyes.
Nice.
He just
No,
reads it.
I mean it. I really mean it. I like to. If I need to say something about a setup and an indicator or something, I would say the retracement. Like you visualize a well-formed wave, and then you trace the Fibonacci retracement, which I have tattooed, by the way.
Where?
Yeah. Fibonacci
Go full screen.
retracement in this
Wait,
tattoo. Yeah.
Let's see the tattoo.
Full screen?
Let's see the committed to the game.
Yeah, they'll full screen it. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
And
That's pretty
and the
sweet.
Fibonacci. Oh, Jesus! I'm lost by the camera. Oh my God. Yeah. And
618. You got
the
the numbers
region.
on the knuckles. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. You were committed to the game.
Yeah, that's my whole arm. It's a bull and a bear and jackpot. And
All right.
Oh, sweet, dude. That's awesome.
You guys think you like trading, man? Look at that.
I'm addicted, bro. I'm addicted to trade.
It's the best.
Yeah,
the best. That's
but
very cool.
always conscious, always with risk management, and you know, what we're talking about. You asked me something.
A+ setups, retracement.
Your
Sorry,
A+
A+ setup.
setup.
Golden setup. You said
for-
that's why we started talking about Fibonacci.
For starters, I would say Fibonacci, and for starters, go Fibonacci retracement. It be sweet to train your eyes to see the market and like see the movement and the candles forming, and you can take a decision without needing an indicator on your platform. I use the moving average because the biggest ones I can't remember I can't calculate their position, but like the shortest ones that are 9 and 21 exponentials both, you can have an idea. Like I'm 8 years sitting on a computer, like 18 hours a day looking at a graphic. I know.
No
where
kidding.
the-
Get out of
Meantime,
here.
folks.
Yeah, something like that.
That's so much screen
18
time.
hours, 16 hours, something like that. Studying and trading, but most of the part studying. For the last 6 years, I've been more time trading crypto as well, and also my big loss was on crypto, and then I stopped trading crypto. So I found myself on the US future.
Were you trading Bitcoin, or are you trading altcoins?
No, I was trading Bitcoin. I thought I found a deep. I was leveraged, and bad things happened to me.
Yeah, that's typically how that goes.
What happened?
Yeah. But everything in life and on the market is, it's knowledge. You always learn something from it. And you need to uh, repair yourself and go again. Just
How do
get
you
up and
repair
go
yourself, Camillo, when you're not on the charts? What are you doing to get your mind right?
again. Enjoying my family, my wife, my kid. I have a 9 month kid.
Oh, congrats.
I have some hobbies as well. Like I'm in the wrong country to have hobbies like uh,
Why do you say that?
the U.S.
Why?
No, because here the access to this is more um it's easier for you guys to go to an Walmart and buy like
Get it.
you know what I'm saying. I don't know if I can say the word
A
in
tool?
the
Oh yeah.
live.
I mean,
Yeah,
sure.
tool.
Shooting
Yeah,
range.
the tool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, piece.
Yeah.
Oh, gun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said
I
it.
don't know if that's a yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely can go to how do you know a Walmart? Yeah, you can definitely
They
do
have
that
Walmart
here.
down there.
Yeah, you go
Oh.
to Walmart and you buy a pump shot.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Not in Chicago.
Yes. Hey, group coaching questions. I don't think I've plugged it just yet, but if we can change we can pin the form to the top of the chat. We do have group coaching today. Group coaching will be with lunchbox trading. Okay, lunchbox trading.
Lunchbox,
Yeah, we're going with that. We're going with lunchbox trading, huh? We actually go with that. There was a lot of Back to the Futures and okay, so no questions actually. We got lunchbox. Thank you, Dolby. That's what you meant by that question. I
got confused, Dre.
I might be in holiday mode already. Hello.
Get out of here.
I
You haven't finished your shopping yet, Dre. Camillo, did you finish your Christmas shopping, Camillo?
I didn't even start it.
My man.
Like my office.
You and Dre can
my
go
office.
together.
My office is in front of a shopping center, so I don't want to go there. It's probably like exploding people, like people on the roof and stuff, and oh shit, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
No, we got to. It is Christmas. Well, Camila, I just want to say thank you very much for being on with us. If you do celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you so much for joining us here at Top Step. We got Lunchbox Trading. We went with that name. Dolby Time, we got Lunchbox. Yeah, we got Lunchbox. I see Deanna in the green room right now. Hi, Deanna. And we got David Green doing Dolby Time. Dolby, Deanna, sweet. Jack Dolby, a whole lot of Dolby this afternoon.
Yep.
Newly married, Mr. Dolby Time. Boy, if you want Dolby, you came to the right place. Anyways, this is Top Step TV. Lunchbox Trading coming up next. Let's go. We actually went with that name.
with Deanna, aka Market Stalker D, aka the champion of the London Open Market Show at 3:30 a.m. Central. So if you're American and can't sleep, you can hang out with Deanna. This will be a two-part session. I got my lunch pail with Deanna in one hand, and the other hand is going to be David Green at 12:30. So this is a riff on group coaching. So we're going to be a little bit more involved in the markets this time. However, we will be taking questions live in real time. You can ask them to, I guess, me or Deanna for that matter. But Deanna, how are you doing? I've actually not been on with you in quite a while.